the great unknown, my queen of queens, that's all we show. No matter how simple, complex the parts, her gift to all has healed our hearts. Silence breaks and she awakes to soothe your soul. How you create a newfound sound that summer clean, forever burning in your machine. Melody calls, harmony calls, rhythm color. song that's gotta be unsung. Way out here there's a wrong that's gotta be undone. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. There's a heart as hard as rock. Way out here there's a kid that just needs to talk. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. Save me from myself in a wicked generation. Gotta save me from myself in a wicked generation. Can I save me from myself in a wicked generation? Gotta save me from myself in a wicked generation. Generation, in a wicked generation, in a wicked generation, in a wicked generation. Come and see me. Can't you see me? to believe in you. I believed in you. Your intention, my addiction. Fear no evil, you'll be safe in here. I was saved in here.
Oh, hello and welcome to After Hours Off There, home of the talk show where streamers come together to talk about streaming and gaming. If you have questions that are on topic, feel free to ask. If we have time, we'll get to them in chat. If you want to see us talk about a different topic altogether, feel free to tweet us personally or the show's Twitter itself. All right. Thanks for everybody showing up tonight. It's been a minute since we've been able to do this. I've been very busy, personal life, but everything is kind of back to normal. So we shall be doing these more on a regular schedule. I'll go ahead and point out the obvious. Bill and Craigatron are not here. Bill texted me today. His internet is down, and then Craigatron, I don't know what happened. I haven't heard from him since last Thursday. So I don't know. Hope he's fine. Maybe he's asleep or something like this. But we shall get underway. Dorian, my dude, I need to know. The people out there need to know, but I need to know personally. How have you been doing? What have you been doing? What you been streaming? Cause I've been gone, man. I've been out of touch with everybody. I gotta know, and they gotta know.
Well, I gotta say, before I jump right in, thank you for having me back on the show. As always, I do always appreciate tuning back in. Lots of great folks here, and just the discussions, the topics that we go on, and sometimes we go off tangent from time to time. But it's always great. It's always great to be here. Games I've been playing. Well, we've done quite a few single player games as of late. We beat Bully not too long ago. That
Mm.
was a pretty fun game. And then prior to that, we actually beat LA Noir, which you play as a detective in just post World War II. You're basically a World War II veteran coming back home, and you make up the rank, or you move up the ranks in the LA police department, going from different branches, solving murder cases, fire cases, all the sort of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Um, Also, of course, keeping the single player alive. I just put a poll up together. Right now, it's looking like I'm going to be playing Super Mario 3D World next, unless somehow the votes get skewed. But we have a total of like 80 something votes, so that's awesome. So I'm looking forward to playing whatever game that's next on the single player list. I've extended that like by like 7 days now, but I'm excited for that. Of course, I'm playing a lot of Mario Kart, which has been a lot of fun. And Splatoon. I've been playing Splatoon since this month. In August, we had the Splatoon update, which allows you to play ranked matches with your friends. So you can squad up with three others plus yourself. So that's a total of four. That's pretty fun. Sometimes could get a little. I don't know. I think of the word. I wouldn't want to use the word salty because squid, unless you're like in the ocean or something. But we're squidding around, having fun in that. Um, lots of drowning in that game from time to time, but we're still learning the ropes of that game, so it's fun. But other than that, I'm doing well. We celebrated my birthday on Friday or last Friday, so that was a lot of fun. So everyone that was able to come out and celebrate, I just turned 25. Quarter of a century. Wow. Fine. So, anyways, that's cool. Had a great stream. The support's been fantastic, and as I've said, past after hour vodcast shows is that we're always here for fun. We're here for the games, and I can't be more excited to see what's gonna be coming up the upcoming month, couple months, few months away. We have the next big release coming out a little later, September 1st, actually. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. So that's one of the bigger releases. And then, of course, I know a lot of you guys are down for that Fallout 4 hype, going back
Yes.
to the
Ye-
Wasteland. So
Yes.
that's definitely on the menu. Um, there's several cool games coming out. So those are the two probably big hitters that I'm looking at. I know there's Star Wars Battlefront. Um, I'm probably gonna wait maybe like a week or so before I pick that one up. Just make sure like the server bugs and all that sorted out because I know the first week with like multiplayer only games
Yeah.
could be hit and miss. But I'm really just fortunate to where I'm at and the support that it's been provided on the stream, and it's really amazing. So thank you guys for all being here, coming from all our streams, and as Sulfus pointed out, the obvious. Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, we do not have Bill or Craig at the moment. Bill, as you guys probably know, he has a lot of stuff on his plate going on, but he's definitely kept communication with us, and he wishes everyone well, and hope all is good, and that he likes to be back at streaming at some point. Um, and then Craig, we haven't seen Craig a little bit, but he's popped in here and there. It's always good to see that guy. Gotta love that Craigatron, man. Gotta love that Bill Buckner. So gotta love that Wiz. Gotta love that Sulfus. All the great folks
Yeah,
here.
buddy.
So, um, as I've said, hopefully maybe one of them may show up later in the show. We don't know. As Sulfus said, maybe Craig's sleeping or something came up, but he's really good for just letting us know where he's at. So hopefully we'll see him soon. And yeah, thank you guys for all the wishes, and it's so good to see you guys. But further ado, Wiz, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. Just trying to grind like as always. Um, been playing a lot of Black Ops 3 beta since it's been out, and I am really enjoying it. Um, Nothing like Advanced Warfare, which is good. But other than that, I've been playing um, some Counter Strike, some H1Z1, a lot of Rocket League as well. I like Rocket League like a lot. It's just a different game to play, and then of course, so excited for upcoming games, such as Halo 5 Guardians. That looks like a really good one. The Division, I know that doesn't come out till next year, but that looks like a really good game. Of course, Black Ops 3, and then another one, Need for Speed. I haven't played Need for Speed in quite some time, and I'm excited that they are coming out with a new one. So, yeah, just trying to stream as much as possible before people start going back to school, and then hopefully getting a set schedule together since I don't have one currently. But other than that, things are good.
Awesome. So, since I announced that special guest Wiz, there have been a couple of people out there to ask me who you are. So, if you would, tell the people, you kind of mentioned the games you stream, tell the people,
Mhm.
kind of your schedule, what made you stream in the first place,
Okay.
kind of introduction to you in that pink headset.
All right. So I didn't hear about Twitch until maybe September or October of 2013. I didn't know that you could stream games on the internet. Like I always like found out or saw like videos on YouTube and stuff like that, but I didn't know that you could actually like stream live on a website. So my friend introduced me to Twitch, and at that time, Ghost was about to come out. So I was just browsing through Twitch and Call of Duty and stuff like that, and I came across Tim the Tap Man, and I started watching him for a few months, and then eventually I was like, I want to stream. Like, this is something that I want to do. And at the time, I didn't even have a PC. I actually had a MacBook laptop, and I ended up putting Windows on it so that I was able to stream with OBS.
Oh.
So
shots fired.
when I first started streaming, I had like those little rocking chairs that you would sit on the ground that you would lean back and forth in. Didn't have any arms on it. It was just like a regular rocking chair. Hooked up my Xbox to my TV. I had my laptop actually on my lap because I didn't have a webcam. So I had my laptop on my lap, and I used the webcam from the MacBook. So it would be like facing up at me. So then my legs would get warm because of my MacBook, and it was just all bad from there.
Yes.
It was eventually
it was a real laptop.
It was real. The struggle was real. But then after that, I ended up saving up money, building my first PC 2 months after I started streaming. And it's just been great ever since then. I actually started out playing Ghost. And I played competitive for a little bit, and then once Advanced Warfare came out, I stopped playing competitive. But hopefully Black Ops 3 will get me back into competitive because I do miss it. And then Pink Headset, I got these a year and like 2 months ago. I was just saving up for Astros. I had the A50s before I got the A40s, and I wanted something different. I wanted not a normal color that people would usually get. So I went with pink just to try and stand out.
I like it.
So, and I mean, I've been rocking them ever since, man.
I like it. I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, ever since I've met Wiz, I think, those headphones, like, they're just part of it. Part of the CallMeWizz brand. Wiz Nation.
I might have to get rid of them soon, though, because, Razer is going to be sending me a headset, so I might have to go away with the pink Astros, but they'll always be a part of me.
Oh, it'll be we're going to have, like, when that happens, we'll have to have, like, a moment of silence for the headset.
Yeah, it'll be tragic.
Then you should wear a pink wife beater to offset it.
I don't even think I have anything pink in my closet. This is, like, the only pink thing that I own, so, I mean, I'll have to go out and shop for some pink stuff to try and replace it, you know?
Gotta have something, or at least have like a pink something hanging on your wall behind you. Something just to like a remembrance.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You will always be remembered but never forgotten.
Exactly. Well, awesome. Again, thanks, Wiz, for coming on in, being that special guest. We normally have more people to talk to. But tonight we're kind of short-staffed, if you will. But it's been a while, and I was excited for tonight, and I wanted this show must go on. And I know a lot of you out there have been asking when the next episode was going to be. So we wanted to deliver you guys a show anyway. So as for me, my personal life since the last show has been very busy. I started my new job. I had to go out of town, travel a lot. Finally got back in town, and things are getting back to normal. Last week I did some streams. This week, the days that I kind of set aside to stream, I've been doing a lot of production work actually. So I used that time to do production work on the upcoming vodcast shows. A lot of production is going into a particular show. Which will be not the next show, but the show after that, which will be episode 12, the grand celebration of doing this for a year. We plan on having a really fun show when that rolls around. A lot of things are in works for that, and I've been doing a lot of production on it. 2 months away, so if that gives you any kind of idea what kind of work is being done on that show, you should know. And I still have a lot of work to do on it. But on my website, and of course we all know from past conversations that all the tabs that streamers put on their page, nobody reads them, but we put them on there anyway. My streaming schedule is set aside for Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 to 11-ish my time, which is Central. And then anytime we have a show like tonight, that'll fill my streaming time. And then may throw some Saturday streams in there every now and again. And you guys that follow me personally on my channel know that I try to do my best to communicate with you guys over Twitter what's going on with the streams and what's going on. So if I do a stream on Saturday, it'll just be a tweet out, and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully, well ahead of time when I'm streaming on Saturdays when I do. But yeah, I'm trying to get settled into the new job and the new schedule. I'm working completely opposite hours than I was. So trying to get used to that, and then getting back streaming. I said I was going to stream 3 days a week. I didn't want to overdo myself between work and streaming. We've had a conversation about that before on a previous episode. So just kind of tiptoeing back in, make sure I don't burn myself out, and everything is good. Then we'll up the days. So that's what's been going on with me. Again, Bill and Craig not being here, these guys are missed. Hopefully everything is all right with Craig. Personally, people, I don't know if anybody is in the chat, but people were actually DMing me on Twitter, want to know if Bill was all right. They haven't heard from him. Blah blah blah. I talked to him on the phone, guys. I did talk to him on the phone a few days ago. He's got a lot of things going on. He misses everybody. He planned on being here tonight, but his internet is dead, so that's a thing. So yeah, he's definitely fine. He's just got a lot of stuff going on in the personal life. So the topics that we're going to cover tonight, guys and gals out there, is we're going to reminisce. We're going to take a step back a little bit and talk about the games that we played when we were growing up, and at what point did we realize, this is, I'm kind of all right with what's going on, and we're going to keep playing games until, till now, really. Also, topic 2, I think will be very interesting with the Hitbox is another streaming service, if you guys don't know. They announced that basically, in layman's terms, I'm just going to lay this out. We'll get more into it, but basically everybody that streams on Hitbox is a partner now. So it doesn't matter if you have one follower or all the followers, you're a partner. But we'll get into more of the details, but that's basically it. And then we're going to get into topic 3 is the allure of esports and all the tournaments and all the money that's being thrown around at prize pools and the fandom that is there. We're going to try to figure out and decipher, how that's really a thing, because it's crazy. I love it. Video games being the forefront, people making money, people going to watch it live. I personally love it, but we're going to get into talking about this. And the last topic for the night is the current state of beta games. Seems to be a lot of betas rolling around, and it's okay. We'll dive more into that, but it's gonna be current state of beta games. And always, if you don't know, if you have a question and it's on something we're talking about, pop it in the chat. If we have time and time permits, we'll answer that question. If not, tweet at us, and we can talk about it more. So you want to see something on the show that's not on this list, just hit us up on Twitter and we can get your topic in future shows. So Wiz, when did you start gaming, man? Was you what do you remember sitting around as a kid playing? When did it all start for you?
I started when I was really young. I don't remember what my first game was, but I do remember it was either Sonic on Sega Genesis or it was Nintendo 64 Pokemon Stadium. I didn't have a Nintendo 64 personally, but the daycare that I went to, they actually had a Nintendo 64 there, and I played Pokemon Stadium a lot.
Nice.
And then of course Sonic, that's a classic. I had that at home, and ever since then it's just been a part of me, and I don't think I could ever part ways with it. I think it's just with me till the end. till I am in the grave, I probably will be playing video games for the rest of my life.
Nice. So what systems do you have like do you have
I play
like
games on PC. I have 360, PS4, and Xbox One.
gotcha. So Genesis 60 N64 was around your starting time.
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other games that like you just that just stood out that you just early on that you just played all the time, or did you just play whatever or
I can't remember. I don't remember what system it was on, but I used to go to my friend's house all the time and play Monkey Ball. I can't remember what system. I think it was on 64. No, not 64. A Wii?
nice?
I don't remember, but it was Monkey Ball, and I used to go to my friend's house and play that quite a lot. And then also when I was younger, playing basketball, I would play like a bunch of like NBA Jam.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
NBA
yeah.
Jam was probably one of the best basketball games ever. And then like NBA 2K Live, 2K and NBA Live and stuff like that. So a lot of sports games, and I didn't get into FPS games till COD 4 was like my first ever FPS game, and I think that came out in 2006. And since then, I've loved FPS games. And then I
Nice.
didn't get into Counter Strike until about a year ago, and that's been out for a while. But before Counter Strike, I was just like all about COD and sports games mainly.
So, have you ever branched out and played like RPGs or MMOs or like something out of the box that you don't normally play?
My friend-
or
my
have
friend-
you kind of stuck to the same ones throughout?
My friend tried to get me to play World of Warcraft for about 2 years. I never caved, but I did end up it was Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. That was probably the only game that I actually ventured outside of my comfort zone to actually play.
I have this game.
I played it for
I have that
played it
one
for
as
quite
well.
some time. It was nice for a couple months. And then I just got bored of it. And it's probably still sitting in on my PC.
Yeah, at the end game of that is a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
Once you get kind of at that max level, then it's just grinding for gear, and they're all random drops, so you can't
Yeah.
really like plan to go get gear. You just do the thing and hope it happens.
Yeah. It's like a chance of luck.
Yeah, it's small chance of what really. But awesome. So, well, you've already covered so you kind of covered already the games you're looking forward to. So, anything else to add onto the reminiscing of games as you were coming up as a young tyke?
Not so much. It was mostly just sports games. Until I actually got into Call of Duty, it was mostly sports games that actually piqued my interest. Because and then like handheld games, like we had a PSP and Game Boy for like Pokemon. Pokemon was actually pretty big. I also Super Mario. I'm forgetting Super Mario.
How can you
On
forget
the Game Boy
this?
Advance.
Oh yeah.
I had a Game Boy Advance and I used to play Super Mario all the time. And then we were coming back from a vacation and I put my Game Boy Advance in the pocket in front of me and I left it there. So I ended up not having a Game Boy Advance. But I did have like the original Game Boy Color, like the see-through purple one. Like that was my best friend.
For sure. So, a question in chat popped up. Any MOBAs for you, Wiz, or no?
No.
No?
I don't find them interesting. I find them boring. I don't know. I find them you're doing like the same things over and over, whether it's trying to level up or trying to go for gear. I just don't find them interesting, and I feel like there's too many buttons to press when playing those
All
games.
those macro keys.
Yeah, like bindings and all this crazy stuff. I'm just like I'll forget things,
All the
and
buttons.
people will think I suck when in reality it's probably true. But I don't know. It's just too many buttons to press like all at once and trying to remember when to use things. at like the right time. It's overwhelming. I don't know how people do it every single day, day in and day out.
Yeah, those types of games are always about timing, and there's a lot of things that go into MOBAs, though. It's timing, it's knowing your character, it's knowing the character you're going against.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you could get into a fight and you really don't need to be in that fight because it's not a good matchup, character versus character.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of stuff that goes in there because I actually do play MOBAs, so I could preach on that subject for a little bit, but there's a lot more that goes into those games. Wiz needs to play Destiny. That's what I see in the chat,
Ooh.
dude. I'm just saying.
I don't like it. This is the same thing that happened with Advanced Warfare and Destiny. I like the betas, did not like the actual game. I don't like going into playing missions and getting drops. I got bored of playing like the matchmaking because I would always play against people that always had better stuff than me, and I didn't want to take the time to actually try and get stuff to even up the competition. I will not play Destiny. I refuse.
All right, sorry guys in chat. I tried, man. I tried. What can you say? All right. So, anything else?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of, at least.
Okay. Well, something pops up. Let me know. Dorian.
Wow.
That young tyke Dorian growing up. What did he
Yeah,
play?
games I played when I was growing up. Well, the very first console. Okay, so this is before. Well, this is. I didn't get a chance to play the Atari, Pong, any of those consoles that were available at the time. But I grew up with playing with the original NES system. So we had Duck Hunt, Super Mario Brothers from 1 to 3, the Mega Man, Darkwing Duck. Oh, another one.
Darkwing Duck. Yes.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck is a lot of fun. Good show too.
I forgot about this. That's amazing.
I've never
I
heard of it.
remember
Look it up.
Oh yeah.
Look it up, Wiz.
Yeah, Duck Hunt. I think I said Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Oh man, you're playing as Little Mac. That was a lot of fun when you're throwing those jabs, haymakers, whatever,
Dorian.
and taking out the bosses. And there were certain ways what specific moves that you're supposed to do. So you can get like your special and you knock these guys out. A lot of fun.
Dorian, I'm going to interrupt you for 2 seconds. You said Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And for some odd reason, I can't remember when that game actually came out. But I can still tell you this day the password to go directly to Mike Tyson.
Wow. A passcode. I didn't even know that.
I know that number like it's my social security number, dude. All you people out there in the chat, if you have an NES and you want to go to Mike Tyson and you don't want to play the entire game, go to password, type in 007-373-5963. Takes you right to the final boss. Go ahead, Dorian.
That's OP to know that number. Holy smokes.
That's amazing.
Oh, man. Yeah, so those are definitely some of the games I remember, like, growing up. Like, this is my very first time having a video game system, being introduced to video games. I remember the rectangular controllers, A, B, start, select. That was, and the D-pad. That was it, man. That was it. Just a rectangular little controller, and me holding it like this. Oh, I can't forget another great one. Was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade. There was 2 games. I remember there was one that was more of a story-driven thing going on, but the other one was the arcade, which is basically a side-scrolling fighting game. You can play as all the Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember always using, I think his name is Mikey, the one with the nunchucks, and he always loves cheese pizza. My brother liked to play as, I think, either as Leonardo or Donatello. I think. And there's Raphael.
Donatello was my dude, man. That was my go-to.
Raphael was always angry. I thought he was always always had a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he does.
Like, I'm gonna kick your butt. But yeah, so I remember playing those games. A lot of fun. And then I didn't actually play the Super Nintendo. That was something that kind of skipped. Like we didn't play it, so there was probably a little bit of Sega. Wiz touched on it, some Sonic. I remember playing that. Gotta go fast. Collecting all those little rings and
For sure.
getting killed by the Eggman. What's his Doctor? Oh man, what's his name? The boss guy with the hangs out in that little
I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I
thing.
lost it.
With the big
Um,
mustache.
yeah,
What
I
is
was gonna
his
say
name?
Something Egg.
Dr.
Egg,
Eggman.
I think.
I think that's it.
Eggman?
Just Dr. Eggman. Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Eggman.
Yeah,
It's
Eggman. Yeah.
something weird.
Yeah, I remember going against him, and that was probably like my most like memory for like just Sega in general was Sonic. That was like the iconic um just brand. That's what Sega. I think that's still its kind of like mascot. Sega is still kind of known for their Sonics, but as of
Mhm.
late, not so much. Um, but yeah, no. So I didn't really play too much of Sega besides Sonic. SNES, I missed out a lot of good games on there. Um, Including like Mario Kart. Like I didn't play. I think that was the very first Mario Kart game. Was on Super Nintendo, but I remember going on onto what's it called? First console that my brother and I were both excited for was the Nintendo 64. I remember getting it,
Nice.
and all the main three games that we got. Robotnik, was that the name? Oh, that was like something egg, but maybe. Um, I remember N64. My uncles bought the console for us, my brother and I. And I remember the game console came with a gray controller, and my uncle bought additional. I think it was a red and green controllers. We had a total of three controllers. It's just mainly for the two of us anyway, so we can have a buddy come over. But I remember getting Super Mario 64. I think that's still my favorite overall Mario game. It did so much, the 3D platforming, jumping into those art pieces, going to those cool worlds. Um, I remember the very first level of Super Mario 64 where you actually meet this bomb guy. He tosses you, but if you toss him off the edge, he doesn't like it. It's like, hey, you can toss me off the edge, but I can't toss you. And he's like, no, can't do it. So I remember that. Mario Kart 64, loved that game so much, so much fun. Played as mainly as Mario. I didn't even know what 50cc, 100cc, 150cc even meant in those games. I was like, oh, I'm going to pick the larger number because it's a larger number. So,
Mm-hmm.
playing that. Oh yeah, GoldenEye. Yes, I loved GoldenEye. That was probably my first-person shooter that I did play growing up. I remember playing the single-player campaign, doing all the codes and putting like paintball mode, invincible, and I remember like shooting a tank projectile out of like a gun or something ridiculous, but taking out Jaws, seeing a little odd job because that was weird. He was so small. And then multiplayer, so much fun. I remember my friend that lived next door, his cousin would come over and he would play as General Omaruf, I think. He was like one of the main villains in the movie. And so he's in the game. All of us would just gang up on him because he just played as that character. Like, no, we don't like this character. We're gonna team up and go against him. And at this time, it's like four screens, right? Four screens on or separate screens on one like old CRT screen of like maybe 27 inches. And that was just really it was hard to see, but at that time everyone was screen peeking, so we didn't even think of that. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff. So I remember we just all gang up on him. He's like, "Hey, this is not fair," and then he would leave. He would press the reset button on the way out, and like, "Hey, everyone!"
Push the
went-
reset button.
Yeah, press the reset button on the N64.
It's trolling.
And then probably my favorite outside of Metal Gear Solid 1, which is on PS1 when we were growing up, but my favorite overall. I know I've listed a lot of good N64 games. Favorite game from N64 probably would be Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time. It was so good. That was my first Legend of Zelda game that I was introduced. I think the first one started on the NES, then came onto the Super Nintendo, then N64, and also Game Boy Color, all those portables back in the day. I didn't really. I remember owning a Game Boy Color, Pokemon Yellow, which was cool, and some Mickey Mouse game. But for N64, probably my favorite game is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Ocarina or Ocarina? I always got confused about that.
I've always said Ocarina of Time. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
right, but I've always said that.
Ocarina. I know that's one of those words that always kind of gets debated. Um, but yeah, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. That's the way I pronounce it anyway. My favorite N64 classic, and also N64 had the worst game of all time that I ever
Oh,
played in my life. As I discussed on a few episodes ago, I don't even know how. Like my brother and I loved Batman the animated series when we were growing up. TV show, cartoon, great stuff. I know there was a bit of Superman in there and going on, but yeah, Superman 64, worst game ever in my
mm.
opinion. The controls terrible. You die by things like you're Superman. You shouldn't be dying from like gas. Like what's going on here? Oh, and then your character like basically flies like a plank. I know back then there wasn't so much you can do, but then we played games like Banjo Kazooie, Super Mario 64, these platformer games that felt so smooth. So you go into Superman 64, your guy like runs stiff and he flies all weird, janky and stuff. It was bad. It
That
was
that that was that was at the time when like 3D atmosphere in games started becoming a thing, and they really haven't got it yet. You know, there was the time there was a lot of those 3D games that were terrible. But
yeah.
yeah, that Superman one
There's
was pretty whack from like just a game standpoint, but like gameplay as well was very strange. Like you were saying, Superman dying to things that he shouldn't.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of. I have to admit, it would be pretty tough. There's only one studio I think that can actually probably make a solid Superman game. Is the folks that have done the Batman games, Arkham.
Yeah,
That's Rocksteady,
for
the British
sure.
studio. I think they can do it. They would find a way. Again, it's as much. I do like Superman, but it's a lot easier to kind of build around a character, who's particularly not well. In this case, Superman being pretty much invulnerable, except for like kryptonite. But I remember playing that game as a kid. I was excited. We went to Toys R Us, got the game, played it. I'm like, I don't. About 2 hours, 3 hours in, I'm like, what's going on? My guy runs really weird, and I'm flying through these rings and stuff, and I'm dying from like simplest things. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Um, so that's for games like I grew up, like NES, N64. I said, a little bit of Game Boy Color, man, like Pokemon Yellow. That was my first Pokemon game. I didn't have a chance to play Pokemon Red or Blue. I had an old like my Game Boy Color back then. It was kind of a transparent purple. You can see through it. You can
Hmm.
see like the motherboard and all that stuff. It was kind of weird back then, but I remember we would link up together and someone have the link cable, so we would like trade Pokemon when we were in
Mm,
elementary school.
yeah.
That was interesting times. Um, yeah, so another game. I have a list I put together. I remember Smash Bros. That was probably my first fighting game. I remember like we rented it and then we got bored of it. It was a game called Clay Fighter on N64. It was strange. I think it had gum. It looked like it had like the snow character and I don't know. Just like if when your character gets knocked out, like they turn into like wax or something or clay. They just melt away. It was weird. But I remember Super Smash Bros. That was a lot of fun growing up. That hand at the end, the final battle, like who is that hand? Does anyone know in the chat? Does anyone know who that hand is? Is that just like is that like Shigeru Miyamoto's hand there? Just like I don't know. I don't even
Maybe,
know. So
maybe.
and then lastly, the last console I remember growing up, a little becoming a little more mature was the PS1. So I remember my favorite game of all time, and I've said this before, is Metal Gear Solid 1. The writing, the gameplay, uh, the sense of stealth of using a cardboard box. Just, hey, I can fool people by using a cardboard box. I'm not here. No one's here. It's all good. I think I saw a cardboard box move. Oh, my mind's playing tricks on me. I remember the guards would continue to say that. So using that, I remember it was so good. But I didn't. It took me till probably about 6 years ago. I actually understood the story and what was going on in that game, and just the whole Metal Gear saga. It's just the whole Metal Gear saga. There's so much stuff going on. I already said this at the intro. Like, I'm looking at Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, soon. So I remember another maybe PS1 classics. Spyro.
Yeah.
Spyro. Dragon. Unfortunately, he's kind of been he's
That-
changed a lot since then. Like, he's a Skylander character that looks kind of scary. Used to be a friendly dragon. Now he's like, like when he smiles, his teeth look like they're gonna rip you apart or something. Poor guy. Crash Bandicoot. Oh man, I know. I've been watching a buddy of mine.
Oh yeah.
Jake,
Crash
he's been
Bandicoot.
playing that. Just 100%ed, or 110%. I forget what it is, but Crash 1. I was trying to stream Crash 1 almost a year ago, and I was getting frustrated, just dying all the time. But oh yeah, Crash 1, playing those games. Good old Bandicoot. And I guess I remember kind of growing up. Last one is like for RPGs. I didn't beat it. My brother and I tried to beat the game, but I think we were near the last boss. Maybe you can chime in there, Solfist. Was the last near the end of Final Fantasy 7? Was the final
Oh.
boss Sephiroth? It must have been, right?
Well, storyline.
Or
Yeah,
getting close. Or I remember there was a fight that we got stuck, and we thought we farmed and tried to get all the experience. I thought we had all the equipment. My friend next door would come over because he beat the game. He would help us out, and we just got stuck and we couldn't beat it. We
Yeah.
were sad.
but in 7 is, it wasn't linear. Like, you could beat the storyline, but there were bosses in there that were optional, like the ruby weapon and the emerald weapon, and all of these things. So Sephiroth was the main bad guy, if you will, but there was so much more. Kind of getting that 100% complete deal. You had to kill the ruby weapon, and the ruby weapon and the emerald weapon were actually harder than the quote unquote final boss. It's strange, but you didn't have to kill him to beat the game. It's one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember it was some sort of boss we got stuck on, and we were sad. So then, I remember Final Fantasy 8 was out. My brother, that game was a lot different in terms of like the art, and just
It was different all the way around.
it was a lot more mature, like
Yep.
the way Final Fantasy 7 had that kind of anime-ish look, where kind of blocky little characters, whereas Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 8, they really changed it quite a bit. And I remember my brother and my neighbor at the time, they beat the game, but it was a lot more mature. And then the very first Final Fantasy game that I beat was actually Final Fantasy 9. I really enjoyed that one. That was fun. I remember
that was
the magic guy,
yeah, that was a good one.
the knight, the main character with the tail. Yeah, so don't remember the names too well at all, but I remember playing that, beat that. That was a good one. But
I could probably dig
yeah,
it.
those.
I could probably dig that up. I actually still have the Final Fantasy 9, and it was like 4 discs. It came in a package like this big. It was crazy. I know I still got it
That-
around here somewhere, but for the original for the PS1, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. That what kind of blew my mind back in the day. Like as now I understand, but having multiple discs for games. Like I remember in Metal Gear Solid 1, after you I won't say too much, but you fight against one boss, and after you fight, you go through a certain door and it asks you to insert disc 2. And at
Yeah.
that time, I'm like, what? Disc 2? And I look in the case. Oh, there is a second disc. Normally, if I pop games out, it will just freeze the game. Everything will just freeze. Is this a troll? Or the kid's like, what's going on? So we pop the disc out. I'm like, okay, I hope it's not going to damage our save or something. And this is the time we like started learning about memory cards and stuff. Put the
Yeah.
second disc in and it just resumed. I'm like, whoa.
This is the greatest thing ever.
weird. Yeah. Can I do this with other games too? Then I experimented, like, oh, your game just froze. Um, yeah, and then of course, I think I mentioned last thing I'll say is I remember Resident Evil 1. We rented that game several times, or we extended the time. We didn't get that far in that game, the original Resident Evil, and my brother and I both stopped because we were scared. As soon as you go through that one hallway where that dog jumps out, that is probably one of the most iconic scenes I remember from Resident Evil. In general, I actually just beat the remake not long ago. That was a lot of fun. Raw Power, I don't know if he's here, but Raw Power helped me out with some guides on how to get through certain areas and puzzles and stuff. But yeah, that dog jumping out. But back then, like even if I was to play it now, a lot of these older PS1, yes, PS1 horror games like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, maybe even Silent Hill, the graphics, like back then they were great looking. Now they don't look as good, well, nowhere as good, but they still give you that sense of scare. I don't know how to explain it that well, you know, like that thing looks ugly. I know it's a blocky looking head thing and it's spewing blood like a water fountain, but man, that's still looking scary, you know. It still has that feel.
It's the
of,
same to me. Now, to me, it's the same kind of. It draws a parallel to me with older horror movies. Is they're like really gritty nowadays? Everything is about production and a game being pretty and looking good. You make a horror game, and it's just kind of like, oh, look at that. There's some scary guy over here, but look at the sunset and the trees behind. That looks really good. You know, it's you watch some very old horror movies, and they're kind of a little bit, and you watch all the new ones, and it doesn't matter. You know, they don't bother hardly anybody. They don't bother me. I don't know. Some people still get scared, but it's that grittiness. In the same way, when I played the first Resident Evil game, the original, when the dog. I don't know if it's a dog, but something comes crashing out of a window at you.
Yeah.
I literally jumped. I was like, oh, But now stuff like that doesn't bother me. But it's the grittiness, man. It's the grittiness. Everything now is all pretty, and Hollywood and production, have all the money.
Yeah. Like
And,
I remember, it probably scared me. It did. I remember my parents would watch like horror films, and I like sneak out, just like I want some water, I want a glass of milk or something, and. Of course, like the living room was completely dark, and my parents are watching like The Exorcist. I'm like,
Nice.
at that time, like, what's going on? And all I hear, like, when I'm kind of groggy, waking up because I wanted to grab something from the fridge. All you hear is like, and I'm like, well, is it okay out there? What's going on? So it's just been actually curious. And I remember that scene where, I think it's just a little after the girl got possessed, so her face is like changing. She's strapped to the bed, or she's starting like to levitate a bit, and then she like throws up, and the sound effect from that was just already scary. So I had like a nightmare following that night.
Yeah.
And, as we're talking like elementary school, like third grade, fourth, fifth grade, whatever. So I'm like, oh my days. I won't be able to sleep at night, and then I would tell my friends at school, like, I just saw something really scary last night on what my parents were watching, and they'll, oh, what is it? And then they will go watch it and somehow rent it. I guess their parents will allow them, and I lost so much sleep when I was a kid.
This is
So
this movie. I grew up watching like all the scary, like Friday the 13th, and Freddy and all these movies. It didn't bother me at all. But my parents would not let me watch that movie. They would not let me watch that movie. They were like, "No, you can't watch this movie. All the other movies fine. This one, no, you gotta wait."
Mhm. Yeah, I remember sort of things of Freddy Krueger. Like, is he goes into dreams or something, right?
Correct. And
Yeah, and
he's got the glove with all the knives and stuff.
yeah, and his face is all weird looking too. So that was
he's burnt.
in the hat.
He's burnt up, is what it is. He got when he was alive, he was set on fire. That's what he was like a child predator, and then like the neighborhood banded together and they burned his house down. He was in it, and then he started haunting all the dreams of
Right.
people's.
You know what movie? I guess it wasn't intended to be a horror. It's more of an action, but Terminator 1, the first Terminator film, I thought that gave me some chills growing up too. I remember that.
That had some
Like
that had some kind of freaky moments, you know, especially to a young mind seeing stuff like this. It was different, for sure.
Yeah. I remember watching the second one, Terminator 2, which I think is overall the best Terminator I've seen.
Terminator 2 still holds up
That
to
one
this
didn't
day.
that one didn't scare. I enjoyed watching that.
Mhm.
It didn't scare me. Whereas the first one, the music, like it was that 80s feel, right? You know, the like that music and just the chase sequences, and then you see the skin like being like torn off Terminator himself, so Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the effects then, like it was scary.
Yeah.
Like he was chasing I forget her Sarah Connor?
Sarah Connor. Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, like yeah. John Connor's father was in that, right? So he went back in time
Right.
to prevent from her dying, but yeah, no, I remember the chase sequences, and I think near the end they're like in some type of facility, and you know he's just crawling, he's in his metal, just all metal robotic form, but yeah, those. I don't know. I guess we'll all start off by like talking about Resident Evil, but yeah, some scariest games I remember growing up to, and some movies on the side. But yeah, games I played when growing up, man. That's and some low life experiences of scary movies that probably affected my mind. Still do.
A game that I thought of was Rampage, where you had like the three monsters and you had to like destroy buildings and stuff.
Yes.
That game
Yes.
was awesome.
Yes.
I don't remember.
gotta
I
look
think
this
it was. I don't think it was on a console. I think it was more of like an arcade game.
It was a mainstay at the arcade, and it was doing really good at the arcade, and it did get a port over to. I want to say it was either 64 or N64. I can't remember. But it did get a port over. The home console, the console version was kind of it couldn't touch the arcade version. But good job, dude. I forgot about this game.
Yo,
That
Rampage,
was really
that was
good.
such a fun game to play.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I see some box art and stuff. I kind of remember that game a bit. I remember the gorilla character the most out of that, but yeah.
Yeah, you had the King Kong kind of version, and you had the Godzilla. What was the third one, dude? Because you had the big.
It was like a monkey or something. It was something blue.
Yeah, blue wolf-looking thing. At least
Yeah, it was like
It was a
like
wolf.
a wolf.
It was. That's right. That's right. It was a big werewolf, basically. So you had the King Kong knockoff and the Godzilla knockoff, and then a giant werewolf for some odd reason.
Yeah, like a wolf or like a rat.
Yeah.
But it was on PlayStation.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, the original PlayStation.
Okay.
But I just thought of that game and I was like, that game brings back memories.
That
I used
was
to play that like day in and day out.
that was a good one.
Oh, you know, if you want to talk about consoles that I didn't own, or actually arcades, I remember going to arcades. Where I live, I have to take the ferry to get over to the main part of BC, called the BC Ferries, and they would have the arcade area. They have a gift shop. I always go to gift shop, check a few things there, probably grab like a PlayStation or Nintendo Power, whatever magazine gaming
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the arcade, and I remember like Tekken being there, bit of Street Fighter, Crazy Taxi, seeing
Hmm.
that. I remember there. I think there was like a Resident Evil game there as well, but it was more of a shooter thing, like a on rail shooter.
There's like a
Um,
cabinet shooter with a gun attached to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there was like a Resident Evil thing going on there, and man, we would just eat up coins. Or we have loonies here, right? Which is our $1 coin, loonies and toonies. So that would just eat up all our coins, and then like, oh, what, all I'm getting is just the high score, but the enjoyment, like, it would just make the ferry ride so much more enjoyable.
It was all about
Um,
getting on the high score list, and you put your initials in it. That's what it was all about.
Yeah. Tekken was
and-
also a great game to play too.
Tekken. In the
I
arcades. The arcades. To me, those fighting games, any of those fighting games, were better in the arcade than the.
hmm
It just loses something when they come to the console. I can't put my finger on it.
yeah,
But
the atmosphere of like hearing the other games, like you'd be playing your game and you're listening to like your character like punching and kicking,
hmm
jumping in the air. So, and then you have another game like off to the side is like you hear like Crazy Taxi or some racing game, or it's like new high score reached, or people are like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like it gets that environment of being in an arcade where there's other gamers there playing, hearing like them smash button mashing or the joystick in hand,
Like
you know, all
Pac-Man.
those little
You would
things.
always hear like Pac-Man
Yep.
in the background too.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
get
all the cool little sound effects.
that Pac-Man, like just the sound, dude. That's so distinctive. Like you could be a mile away and hear that and know
Yeah.
that it's Pac-Man. You could just
Exactly.
know what that game was.
Yeah, like I remember there actually where I live there used to be a place just for arcades, but since the gaming scene has changed so much since then, you know, if I find like an arcade or I take the boat over, I go in there still and like, man, I remember growing up and playing this type of stuff, losing all my coins, but um, yeah, arcades, good times.
For sure. So, um, I'm gonna give away my age a little bit when I start talking about the games that I played growing up. But I'm still a gamer, and I don't care. So the first system that we had was a Atari 2700. Um, um, and when we had that, I have two older brothers, and we're spaced out. So the middle brother is 4 years older than I am. The oldest brother is 8 years older than I am. So we were spread out pretty good, but we was all Atari. We would, go to wherever and get the new game, and then we would just be staring at the box the whole time on the drive home, and talking about it. A lot of those games really like Yar's Revenge and stuff like this. They were, if you look back now, like all the Atari games kind of look the same, but back then, it was the new thing, and we would play. But and then what really kind of launched it is when we got my love for games is when we kind of got the Nintendo original Nintendo. And I can remember we got it for Christmas one year, and I was all hyped about it. My other two brothers were excited, but not as excited as I was to get it. They played it, and my dad even played it from time to time. But it was all about Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Bros. All the Super Mario Brothers. And then I can remember Excite Bike, and this was a game that really piqued my interest because Excite Bike was the first thing that I can remember that actually had a map editor. Like you could go in and make your own like little racetrack and put jumps and things in certain places. So that was kind of cool to me. And then since then, anything that you can go into and kind of edit and play around with, I've always been interested in that. These games now where you get to custom create your own character and stuff like that. Like I'll spend hours on that just making a character before I even play the game. But we didn't get an N64, but there was a lot of regular Nintendo games growing up. uh, Mega Man. I played technically it's Final Fantasy 3, but it was the first Final Fantasy that we had here in North America. I can remember playing this, um, and Final Fantasy 4 and 5. I didn't play 6. I don't recall playing 6. I may have. And then I made the jump to Super Nintendo, and then all the games that came with it. You got Mario again, and then just those same kind of games that Nintendo had in the regular NES, but they were just better. You had more buttons, more things to do, and then that's when with the controller, that's when you started getting port overs of like Mortal Kombat and things like this coming in. You can thank Mortal Kombat for the ESRB rating because of fatalities. That's when that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
and I never had a Genesis, but like my best friend in school had a Genesis, and I was always at his house, and I would go over there and play the Genesis games, the Sonics, the um, what was Primal Rage, games like this. But I never owned one, and then I went from I kind of just took a chill out for a minute in between that and went to straight to play PS1. I didn't get an N64 or a GameCube or anything like this. I went straight to PS1, and then that's when, like you said earlier, like CD technology, the games were bigger, broader, could do more stuff. So like a lot of RPGs and that system was where what was at for me. Playing Parasite Eve, I've talked about that game on a earlier episode. It was an early episode, but I made mention of this game. It was made by Square Enix. Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2, Final Fantasy 9 that Dorian touched on. I had that as well. And some other stands out. Oh, I can remember playing, and nobody's even touched this genre, but I don't remember which number it was, but the Need for Speed on PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
I played the crap out of this game, and it was all about, you start off. It was kind of like that level up system, man. You start off with a really crappy car, and you win some races, and you get to buy a new car. And I was all about trying to buy that best car in the game, man. So I played the crap out of that game. With PS1 to PS2. All the PS2 days were kind of a blur. I don't really remember anything that stood out on the PS2. I guess anything that would stand out on the PS2 for me would be Final Fantasy X. I played this game over and over and over and over and over again. And then the remaster came out on PS4, and then I bought it again. But
Yep.
I played this game, and that game was so immersive, man. I was like, people would be hanging out, all friends and whatever, and they would come over just to watch me play this game. They didn't want to play the game; they just wanted to watch me play it because the storyline was really in depth and a lot of stuff going on, a lot of twists and turns, almost like watching, a TV series now with all the surprises and things that happen.
Yeah.
So that was a thing, and that was another game that was 4 disc long and stuff like this. So and then I got turned into PC gaming. Really kind of before that, but I never had a PC of my own until I got into college. But like the original Warcraft, man, when that game came out, if you look at it now, graphic wise and whatever, it's kind of crazy. But that whole RTS feel, like I really got into that and still play RTSs to this day. Probably because of that game. And a friend of mine actually had it. And he was like, hey, you should try this game. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I sat down at his computer and played it and then never got off his computer. But, so yeah, and then after that, after the PS2, I really just kind of chilled on consoles because I was really big into, making my own computers and stuff like that and doing, playing, sinking all my times into playing MMOs and stuff like this. And then recently, those out there that know me, I bought an Xbox One and a PS4. So a lot of time spanned in my gaming, but the arcade fits in there as well, Dorian. We would go on vacation. We'd take a family trip down to Florida or whatever to the beach, and then we would go to the mall. And I was on a mission to find where the arcade was, see what games they had. That was the first thing I wanted to do when I got to the mall. I didn't care about anything else, and we would go and just dump all the money. Because my parents would give me so much money, like when we were on vacation, like here, this is all you got for today, and I'm like, where's the arcade? So
I don't care about eating it. I just want to play.
yeah, no, just let me play the games. Street Fighter 2, when it first came out, I dumped a lot of money into this. Killer Instinct, I dumped a lot of money into this. A lot of those fighting games. In the arcade, like I said before, made mention of, just have a different feel to me personally in the arcade versus playing them on the console with a controller. And I know they have those fight sticks out now, but it's still it's all right to play with a fight stick, but it just does not replicate being in the arcade.
Doesn't feel the same.
And the same thing too, like it's one thing to play a multiplayer game and you're beating some random person that you don't know and you can't see them. But when you're those fighting games, they're platformed up and there's two sets of controllers and people have got their quarters lined up because they got next game, and then you beat that guy and just the look on his face because you can see him. That is gone. That doesn't happen anymore.
I remember those days. I actually do remember where you just, like you said, you'd line up your quarters, or I would convert all my loony or toonies, the $1 or $2 coins, get my quarters, and then we'd have a little lineup, and then, I wasn't able to hold it down or anything. It was not king of the hill, but I would win a few matches, and then I'm like, all right, I guess I'm done. And then
you
I
lose.
was like, I gotta get out. The boat ride's already over. It's time to get back to the car anyway. So, yeah. You're right. Those are some little things like
and
that.
those games were set up too. Those fighting games is in 2-player mode. If you won, you just kept playing, man. You didn't have to put another quarter in, until you lost. So that was that, and then like some of the cabinet games, like they started getting really high tech with them now. But like some of the sit down like racing games, like those were cool. You had that kind of, not really a simulator feel, but you were there with the wheel and pressing the pedals, and those are cool. And like the games that you alluded to, Dorian, with the cabinet shooters, you had the gun attachment and you were shooting stuff. Like that was all, dude, I can't tell you. If I had all the money back that I dumped in arcade, I'd be all right.
Did you guys ever play the Midnight Club series, the racing game, for PlayStation?
I didn't.
That was a Rockstar, right? So I think we rented it. I remember growing up with, like, when it came with like racing. Okay, I remember a little bit of Mario Kart 64, as I touched on, but like PS1, I remember Gran Turismo. I enjoyed those were great games I played. I always crashed into stuff, but that was a pure simulation.
Burnout was a good. I enjoyed Burnout, being able to crash people into other things and then seeing their car just get destroyed.
Oh yeah. But with Midnight Club, I think I enjoyed Need for Speed a little bit more. I remember my first Need for Speed, I think it was Need for Speed Underground. That was my first kind of take into that. But I think we might have rented Midnight Club.
Need for Speed back then was just such a great... Need for Speed Underground was like such a really good game that, like, I played that like day in and day out. I would beat the game and delete it and play again and use like different cars and stuff like that. And it was just like a really great game to play.
Yeah. Solstice, I found a funny. You grew up with the Atari and stuff. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Basically, what that article is talking about, it's considered actually probably one of the worst games ever made. It was developed for the Atari.
E.T.
And E.T. Yeah.
So
this article is basically going on about how they found like copies of E.T. Buried
So there's an entire documentary on the guy that wanted, because forever it was rumored that ET was buried in a landfill, and it was, it was all this thing about, the people who made it, they were ashamed of it because it was bad. So during the whole documentary, you find out that the guy who developed the game, so he also developed Yar's Revenge, which in the Atari days was like one of the most accoladed game. Like, it was the game to compare all the other games to. Even they all looked the same, but Yar's Revenge was the top pinnacle of the games that everybody was trying to make. It's the same guy that developed this game. They came to him when the movie was coming out. They were like, "Hey, can you do a game in 5 weeks?"
Oh,
So, being the ambitious guy that he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." You know, so he took it on, made what he could in 5 weeks, and the game came out and it was terrible. They made a lot of games because it was ET, it was a licensed game, so they figured the movie was good, the game would do good. The game was not good. Nobody bought it. The word of mouth finally got around. It was terrible, and they had all this back stock of just games sitting there. So they did bury it, but not because it crashed the gaming world. It was a whole thing. It was a whole like hour and 20-minute like documentary thing with this guy trying to find the truth, and he had like all this equipment out, like doing what's it called? I don't even like not echolocation, but they were like doing scans, like scans under the earth, and they were doing like taking soil samples, and they were doing all of this stuff trying to find out where it was. And then they finally started digging it up, and there was like a whole crowd of people there, like watching. It was crazy. But yeah, I definitely know about the ET being buried. I watched the documentary. So yeah, Steven, that is correct. Steven Spielberg did actually play the game before it was released, and he approved it and liked it. So that's a thing. But yeah, it was done in a very short notice. That guy's forever known of turning out a terrible game, but nobody knows the reason behind it, because they came to him, "Hey, you want to do something in 5 weeks?" Dude was like, "Okay." And
5 weeks. Wow.
that's how it went down. So yeah, and back then there wasn't a whole lot of things, so you would have like one, two, maybe three people making an Atari game, because it wasn't all the stuff that goes on now for video game production. But for 5 weeks, for a couple of people to make a game back then, still, it's not a lot of time. So where are we now? So yeah, just after all the consoles, big on PC. For a while I was kind of burnt out on consoles, but consoles now, to me, have kind of stepped up their game a little bit. There's some games out there. Kind of actually really glad that I bought the PS4. Last of Us hype. Blame Test.
Take blame test.
One of the best games that I've played in a long time. At a very long time. It had to be on that console, so I'm glad I bought that. But I mainly really bought the consoles to play with you guys. The crowd was split in Twitch. Everybody had either XB1 or a PS4. Bought the Xbone first, and then went to the PS4 so I could play with all of you guys and gals out there, and really just to have some more variety in my stream as well. So that's where that all landed. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a ton of games that didn't get mentioned, and somebody said Spy Hunter in the chat, and that was an amazing game. But anybody else got any last minute games that you can think about?
Well, I did. Like, if you want, I remember when we got the PS2, and again, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, great games, really pushed the hardware. I really enjoyed the PS2. I remember my brother beat Final Fantasy. I remember I would always mispronounce it. My brother would always tell me, "No, you said it wrong." And then Jake and a few other modern raiders like, "You are saying it wrong." But I always used to call it Titus all the time. But yeah, Titus. I I remember watching my brother play that game hours on end each time we come back home. But actually, I was gonna say, back on the PS2, my first online game. I remember when we
Oh,
bought the network adapter for. Before I say that, I'd say my first PC game is actually probably back when I was in elementary school, Oregon Trail, something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What about
No.
Carmen San Diego? Where in the
I
world is
don't
Carmen San
know.
Diego? We actually had that in our computer class when I was in school because it was kind of an educational game. Kinda. They passed it off as an educational game so we could have a game in the computer lab, but yeah, it was there. We played it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Oregon Trail. Yeah, the word computer lab. Guys, computer lab. Yeah, man, that sounds so long ago
Yeah,
for me
yeah,
too. But
yeah, yeah.
I remember playing that, and then of course, like I've mentioned this in past podcasts, where um, certain cereal boxes would have like some promotion of like Roller Coaster Tycoon or
Mm-hmm.
Monopoly or some silly games like that. Playing it on the PC, like
Yep.
oh, interesting. And it's like actually want 3 months of AOL with it too, something silly like that.
AOL.
Uh, um,
Oh wow. So
but on PS2, go ahead.
now go ahead and finish your thought, and then I have
Oh, okay. I was
I
gonna say then
I have
when
then I have another leading question, and I'm gonna step away for 2 seconds.
okay, I remember my first um like first online game when my brother and I bought the network adapter. That thing was like on the old PS2. Bought the network adapter for it, and it did not look like it was designed well. Like it was just kind of weird how it just kind of put it in the back. But yeah, got the network adapter. First game I remember playing was the SOCOM games. That actually first brought me into like voice chat, voice communications.
Mm-hmm.
That was so like back in the day, squatting up. And then there's game battles too. I don't know if it's still called game battles, but I remember you do these little tournaments and letting people know. And back then, if we had like capture cards, the technology that have today, but back then that would make things so much easier to like sort out disputes because people would always it's like, hey, we won, but we actually won, and it would never end well for the moderators on game battles. But yeah, I remember SOCOM 1, SOCOM 2 growing up. Those were my online engagements to the online gaming world. I know PC gaming was there for a long time with those dial-up connections and stuff, but I remember
Ooh.
like SOCOM, like that was like back then on the PS2, it actually supported broadband and dial-up,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking, wait, so I'm gonna be playing with people on with dial-up internet too? This is I don't know if this is gonna work out, but
Yeah, because back
not
then
bad.
broadband really wasn't. Broadband then was kind of like fiber. Now it's not just widely available to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know. But I missed because I had to get that Mountain Dew hype. Um, you were talking about going online. What was the first time you had an online? And you might have said it already, but the first time you had like an
Oh
online
yeah.
experience with a game.
Mine first was when we got the network adapter. It was SOCOM, SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs 1 and 2. But yeah, the first one, SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs 1. It was a Sony exclusive, and basically it was a third-person shooter where you have a squad up with 8 players, so 8v8, so 16 players total. You had your SEALs, and you had your like terrorists, and you would basically play like team deathmatch, which would be called I think suppression, and then you would have like the bomb level or bomb mode where you would actually the SEALs would have to go into the terrorist base and blow up the bomb, and the terrorists would defuse the bomb. If they defuse, they win. I remember extraction, where you would have to extract one. Well, actually, I had 3 hostages, but you can. I think you can get away if 2 of them die. That's okay. But you can extract them. Extract one. If you get all 3, you get more points. But I remember it was such a competitive game, and game battles when I think when that first came out, SOCOM was there, and then Xbox Live was introduced probably around the same time. So Halo stuff was going on, and
Yeah.
I think even I know yes, Counter Strike back in the old days was still going, and yeah, I remember SOCOM being my first. So much, so much fun. Sounds like CS. Yeah, Twisted. Yeah, definitely. Have I'm pretty sure they probably picked up things from the Valve team, but I liked that. It was a lot of fun. The voice communications, and you can only talk for no more than maybe 10 seconds at a time, and it will cut you off. So you had to just say, all right, we're going over to this plate. We're going center crossroads, and the other teammate's like, okay, go, go, go. And that was pretty
Hmm.
much it. But then there would be people with conversations like, dude, you're holding up the mic. Get off the mic. Ready up. Let's go.
Oh gosh, that mic Tom though. There was no conversations. You just had to say stuff really quick. Uh, Wiz, what was your first like online
It's
that you can remember?
that I can remember. It was probably Halo on the original Xbox.
Mm. Okay.
That was
So
probably my first actual online game.
so sticking to that shooter theme.
Yeah, I think it was Halo. I had a buddy and his brother that I played on a traveling basketball team when I was younger. We used to always play together and do like custom games and get outside the map and just do all this crazy stuff. And it was just a really fun time because we were so close, and then we would always have like a game to play with each other. So like whenever I would get on, he would be there just waiting, and we just always play together for hours on end, and not get bored.
Yeah. Yeah. LAN parties. Anybody?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Ha!
Hmm.
The good old days where you actually had
Yeah.
to bring your computer to somebody else's house to play multiplayer. That's a thing. So my first online was it was PC, was the original EverQuest.
Okay.
A friend of mine was playing this. I went over to his apartment, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta check out this new game and whatever." And I'm looking at it, and it's like a RPG. That's what it looked like to me. And then then he starts telling me, he's like, all these people running around, those are like people on their computer. And I was like, what? How's that work? And then he let me play it a little bit, and I bought it, and then that's where the MMO RPG hit for me. And then I played all the MMOs after that. But that was like one of the first, and there was no voice chat. Everything was typed out, and it was a whole big thing. But it was just, it was all new. You had the dial-up connection. The modem would sing you its song every time you needed to go on the internet.
Oh yeah.
It was that whole thing.
Don't
and
pick up the phone.
Somebody's trying to make a phone call, and you're trying to play the game and stuff. But that's the first online experience that I had, and then it just took off from there. So yeah, with the inventions of broadband and cell phone, his now you can't interrupt the gameplay. Um, But yeah, the dial up was ugh. I can remember friends of mine, like roommates living in the same house, having like 2 and 3 different phone lines so they can all dial in at the same time. you know, you couldn't have a network. Well, I guess technically you could have a network back then, but it was a lot difficult to set up. But man, now I want to go and play all these old games, dude. We've been sitting around talking about good times.
Yeah.
Any remaining thoughts on nostalgias before we move to the next topic?
Just, I'll say that I think all three of us here, we grew up with lots of great content, great games. I feel that folks that are growing up now are they won't be able to experience again. There's a whole different age gap, but I feel like the great golden years of gaming
Hmm.
really started with the Nintendo original NES, and people that are going to be brought up now, they may go back to just look see what history and what games are, but I'd say our age group, people within the last, let's say, um, 20 to 40, 45 years, we've had some really great gaming. Um, and unfortunately, a lot of these games now are big budget, costing millions of
Hmm.
dollars.
Most of
And
the AAA titles have the same budgets that like a Hollywood blockbuster does now. It's
mhm.
ridiculous, millions upon millions of dollars to make a game.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we've had some great games like Selphus you touched on. Remember The Last of Us, fantastic.
Yeah, we should
Uh,
we should make games instead of talk about them because it seems like there's some money in there.
yeah, just the games that are being developed now. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of great games, but the foundation of what games have been built on, and we were fortunate to grow up with them.
Hmm.
For sure, definitely a good. And I think I'm like Wiz, dude. I need to be buried with a PC or something like this. Whenever my time comes, maybe. You know, but yeah, it's I can't. Games have been a part of my life for so long, and I can't really get rid of them. You know, it's like a bad habit. Most of the people notice, like in chat, like I went to vapor instead of cigarettes, so that's a step in the right direction. But I don't think I could ever quit gaming.
Hmm.
Um, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be hard for me. All right. So moving on, is Hitbox recently announced month ago or so, Dorian?
Uh,
Ish.
30 July 31st, almost a month. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, every streamer on their service is basically a partner. It doesn't matter how many people are in their chat, followers they have, whatever.
Hmm.
Everybody can, I don't know what it's called over there, but in Twitch layman terms, everybody has a sub button. You can, people can subscribe to you, and it's basically, to me, it kind of sounds like YouTube uh, payment model almost, not really, but at the same time, somebody can put out one video on their YouTube and get a whole bunch of views and make money off
Hmm.
of that, but they don't have to have a whole bunch of views on all their other videos they have posted. Something goes viral or whatever. So, somebody can have one subscriber, and have like five or so people watching them every night, or you can have somebody that's more popular. So, the question lies, is that a good thing? Is that a ploy that they're trying to get more people? Will Twitch do something similar? Eh. We're gonna kind of dive into that for a little bit and see what everybody thinks. Wiz? Well, actually, we've got, yeah. So yeah, I'm the odd man out. I'm of the three. I'm the only one that's not partnered. So the two partnered streamers probably have kind of more insight than I would. Although I would give a different perspective. But Wiz, you
Hmm.
wanna kind of, what do you think about all this?
Um, I've been on Hitbox like once or twice, but I've never actually ever like been wanting to be interested in their streaming service or anything like that. Personally, I don't think Twitch would do that just because the amount of traffic that they bring in each day. Um, I mean, they're obviously doing something right. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But personally, I don't see any other streaming service as a threat just because the way that Twitch has grown since I've known about it has been tremendous, and I don't think that any other streaming service would be able to compare to what Twitch has going for itself right now and for what it will be in the future. But I mean, if they allow pretty much anyone to be partnered, then I don't think that they'll grow because um, I feel like their people would just be streaming just to have like a name for themselves, I guess, or to just stream for the money because it would be easy since you're already partnered. You don't have any like set statistics to build off of or to try and reach. Um, so I just feel like that they won't grow uh, because everybody that they're allowing to stream on their website is partnered, and yeah, I, I don't have really much of an insight to it.
So, so do you think it's more of a ploy on Hitbox to try to draw people in to compete? Like, hey, you could be a partner over here. For Twitch, you got to go through all these, jump through all these hoops to get partnered. Do you think that's it? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I mean, it probably would help them to be able to say like, yo, if you guys come stream out over here, you're automatically partnered, as opposed to Twitch where you have to have a certain amount of viewers and stuff like that to be able to get partnered. But I just think that it's dumb to make it easy to be partnered without really having to work for it.
So if it's somebody
Rather than it just being given to you.
right. So, but if you have somebody, and I'm just gonna play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
See, like me, I love Twitch, dude. I was on Twitch since Justin TV, and I stream because I like to stream and I like to talk to all you guys in chat and have this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not, if for some reason I become partnered, great. But I would much prefer this channel be partnered than I would my personal channel. Because I don't bank much on streaming. Like personally, I got a lot of stuff going on, and I stream when I can, and I stream to have fun. But if somebody is on the bubble of being partnered and they've applied like several times to Twitch and they keep getting turned down because they're so close, but they just can't get there. They can't get those. Maybe they got like 80 viewers in their chat every time and not 100. Is it advantageous for that person to go to Hitbox? Be like, just tell it, hey guys, screw Twitch. I'm going to Hitbox. You guys can follow me over there. We have a sub button. I'll get all the emotes.
Yeah.
I mean, is it? I don't know.
I mean, it would like kind of encourage that person to try something different, especially if the way that they're going about it like isn't working, or if they're just so close, because there have been times even when I was trying to get partnered, when I would apply multiple times, like I would just get discouraged, and I was just thinking to myself like, is it even like worth it anymore?
Right.
Because you have like people in your chat like saying like, yo, you should be partnered, or like you should apply and stuff like that, and that just builds up your confidence. And then when you go to apply and get declined, it's just like it sucks,
So,
but at that point it would probably encourage people to go to Hitbox, just the sense that you go stream on there, you're already partnered, and it would just be a lot easier.
yeah. I mean, because essentially, and we've kind of hit on this before on this show. I don't know if it's last episode or the episode before, where people doing kind of shady under the table things to get viewerships and become partnered. But then if you become partnered and then like all of the shady stuff you're doing is no longer there, and you have 5 people in your chat and you're partnered, does it really matter? I mean, it really doesn't. If you don't have, a large viewership, you bought your views or whatever you did to get there, and then all that's over with. The person got partnered, and then they have like 3 people in their chat, and one of them's a bot, and they're partnered. So it's not advantageous to them because nobody's subbing to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of it's weird to me. It almost sounds like a ploy. Twitch has a thing where they can't give. They just don't have the hardware to give source options to everybody.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason when you get partnered, you get source options. But they can't give that just to everybody. Now they've opened it up and they're going to start giving it to people that aren't partnered but still have higher viewership. That's on the top. I can't remember, like 1,700 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been to a couple channels that have probably less than 30, maybe even 20 that have the quality options. Like
Hmm.
they'll just get it like randomly.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I don't know if like that doesn't fall under like the top 1,700 or whatever it is. So I don't know what actually activates that for that individual channel to be able to gain the quality options.
I don't know. I have gained quality options one time, the whole time that I've been streaming on my personal channel, and it was the night that Larissa raided me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
She raided me
Saints
with.
Row.
Yeah, I was playing Saints Row, and she raided me, and she had 30 some odd, 138 people that all busted in my chat all at the same time. And when everybody got in there, she said it in chat. She was like, "Guys, everybody, refresh the stream.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have a source button now because everybody's here." And that's when it happened. But I've never, but it is. I have same time. I have seen like random people have source button. I'm like, wow, why is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nobody in here. But I don't know. It's strange to me too. It could be something behind the wall that they're testing. Who knows? Try
Yeah.
to give out source just to like a certain amount of people. Doesn't matter who it is, just to see what their hardware can handle. Maybe I don't know. Twitch, speak up, man. Tell me what's going on back there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So maybe a ploy, maybe I don't know. It seems kind of strange for me. For me, it almost sounds kind of like a reach.
Mm-hmm.
They have this service and it's really not doing maybe what they want it to do. So they're trying to reach for ways to get more people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the only thing that I mean, to like I said, to a streamer, I guess it'd be kind of alluring to do that. But at the same time, if you don't have an audience, it's not going to do you any good to have a sub button.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if I decide, okay, I'm gonna go to Hitbox to stream, guys. I'm gonna have a sub button, and then because and I have no shame in saying, when I go stream, personally, not a whole lot of people watches. I really haven't had time to put in to like build a community. I kind of stream when I can, like I've already noticed. I've already
Mm-hmm.
said. So that's kind of a thing. People don't know when to find me. If you stream at that same time, every Tuesday or whatever, people know that you're going to be streaming and you're going to be there. I don't have that in my life. I wish I did, but so somebody like me, I wouldn't go to Hitbox
Yeah.
because what's the point?
I mean, it would be hard, especially since you've developed like a fan base on one particular streaming service, and then trying to convert your fan base over to another one. It would just be a totally different atmosphere.
Yeah, because
And I don't think most of those people would convert over. They would probably just find another streamer that is just as entertaining to watch
yeah.
on Twitch rather than like on Hitbox. You know what I mean?
Yep. Cause so here's the thing: everybody in chat and everybody, Dorian and Wiz, everybody follows multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well,
Multiple people. So if Dorian's not streaming, I can drop in and say hey to Wiz, or I can stop by and say hey to other people who's been on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Larissa, iGames, Icy Rain, J-Les, any of these guys that that I follow, like on a good Friday night or so, like at the little notification up there that says following, it'll be like 14 beside there, and
Mm-hmm.
14 people are
yep.
live. So if one of those people went over to Hitbox and then everybody else is still on Twitch, you're right, dude. I wouldn't go to Hitbox just to watch like that one person
Yeah.
unless I just really like. Okay, if Dorian all of a sudden went to Hitbox, I'd be like, okay, I gotta get
Uh-oh.
I gotta get my Dorian fix in. I gotta go over there and say hey to him. Just make an example. I don't think Dorian's gonna do that, but if it's just some other people that I kind of network with, and most of the time
Mm-hmm.
I lurk a lot too. I go in and say hey, and I got a lot of stuff going on or whatever. I'll say hey to people, kind of lurk around. and kind of say bye before I leave. But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think Hitbox kind of has their own community, and they're trying to grow it
Yeah.
in some kind of way, but not really robbing people of Twitch. I don't think that's really a thing.
I mean, them giving partnership to everyone is kind of like the wrong way to go about it, in my opinion.
Well, and even like so when like Twitch, like when people was getting partnered with Twitch and they was first started out, it was something ridiculous. You had to have like 500 people watching you.
Yeah.
Congruent,
Mm-hmm.
and they dropped that number to where it's easier, but you still have to have like some kind of viewership for you to get partnered.
Yeah.
A decent amount of viewership to get partnered. So I think that is a good model to follow instead of just going everybody come in. You got a sub button.
Hmm.
Because technically right now, I don't have any restrictions. I could log on to Hitbox, make an account. I don't even have an account over there. I could make an account and just have 0 followers and 0 views and be a partner.
Hmm.
It seems no reward
Mm-hmm.
out of that. I can remember, that December the 5th, Dorian got partnered. There was a big hype party. Everybody's excited. Dorian earned it. And it's, what are you going to do? Okay, I'm going to Hitbox, I'm partnered. It's not really kind of a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
You just, go and hand out things to everybody.
Yeah.
That people are earning elsewhere. It's not so much of a big deal.
It's not as like rewarding, like you said, or like self-fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, so, and I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, Wiz,
Mhm.
but we've had this conversation before about the partnership grind and all these guys getting partnered. How many times did you have to apply?
In August alone, I think I applied 8 times. I still remember this from August 7th to August 20th. I think I gained like 5,000 followers or something like that, and I just thought that was insane. And this was when I was playing GT on the 360. But yeah, in August alone, I think I applied 8 times. And I would average 100 plus to 200 plus. And I genuinely thought that that was the right time for me to apply. And every single time after I applied, I would average like 30 more viewers, and I was just feeling good, like going to apply every single time. And then after August was when I was just like, I don't think I can handle this like disappointment anymore with getting denied. So I ended up buying a Wii U and playing a bunch of Mario Kart and stuff like that, and I was happy again. Just playing games that I enjoyed playing and not worrying about if I'm gonna get partnered or not. I was just having fun again after getting like so discouraged with not getting partnered or getting denied so many times after applying for partnership.
Right, because we've actually on an earlier episode we had a talk. It was the one with so we had
Larissa and Jimmy.
yeah, so we had it was me, Bill, Craigatron, and then it was 6 people on the show, and we had 3 and 3. So Dorian and Larissa and JLS all told their stories about getting partnered and how frustrating it is because it was like Larissa said, you build this thing and you apply, and it's almost like then they say, oh well, no, and then it's just kind of like a letdown. And let's see, I think JLS said he applied like 20 something times. Larissa applied multiple times. I can't remember how many, before they actually got it. So it's like, yeah, it's like when you finally get there, man. To me, it's like a sigh of relief. Like, hey, I made this accomplishment. Stuff like this. So if you just go straight to a website, you're automatically partnered. There's nothing. Like, what else can you do other than hopefully being partnered and hopefully just build a community and all off of hope? Like, is that a real thing? Is that what they're doing?
I mean,
Seems kind of yeah.
after like going away from GTA for a while, and then going back to it, just that email of getting it, you just feel like so accomplished. Like it could have been a lot easier to just like quit and just stop streaming altogether. Um, but just that self fulfillment of actually being partnered and knowing that you worked hard for it. Um,
Yeah.
After so many times of getting denied, like I didn't think that I would ever get partnered after that. But just like staying with it and having the support from your own channel, um, it's it's just a really good feeling to have your hard work finally pay off.
Yeah, and I can even see like you get that email and you're just looking at it and you don't want to open it, but you gotta, like
Yeah.
the whole deal with like trying to get compare it to like trying to get accepted into a college. You get the letter in the mail and it's there, you're holding it, but you don't open it. You let it sit there for a minute. Like that's probably what I would do. I don't know about what you guys did. You guys might have opened it straight out, but I would have been like, I'll open this in a minute.
I opened it like because I had just got home from work, and I opened it and I was just like, is this real? Like, is this really happening? And I like texted all of like my really close friends outside of stream and then also in stream, like it happened, and it was just one of the greatest feelings that I've had since I've been streaming.
Very cool. And
Yeah, no doubt.
Dorian put it very good one time when we was talking about partnership. It's just once you make that accomplishment, it's a way to level up your stream.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's I'm always looking at the ways to build, and it's like once you reach a partnership, and I remember when I saw on the 5th of December that I was accepted, I was thrilled. I was excited. Also, I had some family stuff going on at that time, really some hardships, and um, but to come home and see this email and that I was accepted, I'm like, all right, this is awesome. And I thought it was a bigger accomplishment for everyone too, like to find a way to, like I said, level up, to improve the stream, to make it better. And I don't ever take it for granted. Um, but I'll touch on what you guys were talking about. So, a little bit on Twitch's side, so like the transcoding stuff. So back, I think in July, they brought more transcoding servers to allow people to get those quality options,
Mhm.
and it's if everyone had transcoding, that'd be awesome, because that would eliminate the buffering. But again, like Sulfa said, the servers, and they don't have that available equipment at this time. And I remember even in the partnership push, when I was declined, they would say, they would love to give um, transcoding options for everyone, but due to such high volumes, they can't. But looks like they're slowly making their way of providing more transcoding, and it depends on the time of day, evening, what Twitch traffic's like, but it's within like 15, 1700 top streamers. So let's say you're sitting around 30. When that clicks in, yeah, you will likely get a source button if you're within that 15 to 1700 bracket. It has its pros and cons. I know once you get it, it allows people to have choice. So when people first join, that's awesome. But people that have been watching you for a few hours, especially if you're on, let's say, live from PlayStation or streaming directly off the Xbox Twitch app, you have to really hope that people will be able to refresh and read the Twitch chat. Otherwise, they do leave. And
Because
I
they
saw
think
that
that you're
Mai touched on
offline.
that. Yeah, it will say that, oh, this broadcast has ended, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's it's unfortunate that it does that. Maybe in the future they can, on the console side, they can implement, or on the tablet, it'll just give like a notification somehow or something in the chat.
Mhm.
Quality options been issued, refresh, like how when someone subscribes, you have that Twitch notify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be awesome if it's a source quality or quality options available. If on mobile or some other device, be sure to refresh if channel is not loading. Something like that, like
No,
some notification.
even
That would be neat.
if you have noticed, if you guys are ever on Twitch and you get like a DM on Twitch, like you get a message on Twitch,
It'll show up like at the bottom.
it'll pop up. You have a message, something like that. You're
Mhm.
talking about Dorian, just something that pops. They already have that. They have notification that pops up. They just need to add that one, and the console streamers will be good.
Or even like if you're watching it from like your PC, it'll just do it automatically.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
it'll
that
just
would be awesome.
show up. Like it won't even like it won't like have like the gray screen, or it won't show it go offline. It'll just automatically just pop up like the little scrolling bar, saying that like the quality options are loading, and then it'll just pop up automatically.
yeah. There's probably something. There's probably something a little wonky in there. They'll probably fix it. You know. I don't know if it's console side or Twitch side, but I'm sure that'll get fixed.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So that I know that's the thing that's been going on. I've seen multiple non-partnered casters receive the quality options, and I remember when I would get quality options before being partnered, I would be excited. Let people know like refresh, I'd spam that.
Yeah.
We've got quality options there, guys, and it eliminates the buffering. I see what Kev was saying that you can.
Hmm.
I remember when you're non-partnered, I always tried to find a good in between quality and also bit rate. So I'd always put mine around 2000, 2500, 720, 30 back in those days. And then once you get quality options, you can bump it up on the fly. But yeah, so and we were talking about like Hitbox offering a partner program. I did a little research here, and it turns out there actually is three brackets of partnership with Hitbox.
Okay.
And the one that
Okay.
you guys were talking about is the new one they just implemented. So that was on July 31st, which is called the partner program. So let me just, I took some notes here. So basically everything what Sulfus and Wiz have mentioned. But yeah, so they're bringing revenue share to all Hitbox live streamers. This was announced on 31st. Basically, streamers are now able to make some funds by like ad revenue and also like have subscribers, which would include also like sub emotes. You can have sub emotes. I don't know if there's a limit at this time. I'm guessing if how Twitch goes, you start off with I think 2, and then once you hit 25, I think it's another 2, and 50 another 2, so on, different ways. Also, it says you must have a verified PayPal account and must be the age of 18. You
Ah.
must be age of 18 to be even considered in the partner program. And I know there's some other streamers on Twitch that are partnered, but they're not 18. So I'm wondering if Hitbox will consider changing that. Maybe it's for legal reasons. For maybe I don't know, something misguided happens for the streamer, and I guess yeah, it's all probably legal stuff. Um, so and it's very similar thing again. They split the subscriptions. So when someone subscribes to Wiz or I, basically we get half of what the sub payment, so $4.99. Also, here's a big thing. You actually do not get transcoding options being part of this new partner program. You have to reach a certain threshold. So if you apply for this, you actually don't get the transcoding, which is my favorite thing of being a partnered caster on Twitch is the sub emotes for people to show their expression, whether it be my emotes, Wiz's emotes, anyone's emotes. And the chat in general is always hilarious on Twitch for the most part. And having, quality options. Those are the two things I enjoy most of being a partner streamer, because having the ability from the beginning of the cast for people to look, right, at the stream. If they can't watch it due to their current internet, that's really unfortunate. But fortunately for us, we do have that day one being a partnered caster. But yeah, that covers the first. That's the first offering program that they have, which was introduced on the 31st of July. And then there's two other ones. So they have what's called a team partnership, which is it sounds like a Twitch team sort of, right?
Hmm.
Basically, it's saying you must have at least four members, okay, four streamers, and they must average 100 between all of them. So
So 25
that
viewers per. So like a stream team of 4 people, and they each have to average about 25 viewers.
Sounds
I
right.
guess that's what sounds about right. Yeah. So let's go with that. And then each member will have their own like sub button, sub emote, or custom emotes, part of that. And what's called the team captain, they must only stream on Hitbox. They have to stream on Hitbox. The other people that are
They can.
part of the team, they can freelance, do whatever they like. And then transcoding options will be provided at a minimum of 70 plus viewers. Um, for the for the captain, that will be the exclusive partner program, which I'll get into, which will always have the automatic transcoding, but the others will have to reach a certain threshold of 75 average. And then the last one, which is pretty much what what's closest to what a typical Twitch partnership is. So what they're saying is you must average of about 100 viewers and stream at least 3 times a week. You get like the sub button, the custom emotes. You must only stream on Hitbox, nothing like on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. You get the transcoding. Um, you're able. They're saying this. They're trying to really pitch this for the exclusive partnership. They're saying that you can download your past recordings or highlights. Like they're trying to make it that as one of the big selling points, and you can start your own like team, which we already can as a Twitch partner, but they're really pushing on that where you can download your past stream stuff, which as of this time on Twitch, I don't think you can, or unless there's some other way of doing it. But
Third-party software.
that's yeah. So or unless you're doing your local recordings like OBS XSplit if you're recording and all that stuff. But that's the current state. There's three different ways.
Actually,
There's three different partnerships on
Dorian,
Hitbox.
speaking on that, within XSplit, if I wanted to, I could download past broadcasts
Oh, okay.
within XSplit, but I don't ever do it. I mean, but it's there. You can do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like my take on all this, I think what you're saying there, Sulfus, it's they're reaching out. They like to like Hitbox. I'm not too sure how long they've been around. I know with Twitch, it's all started from Justin TV, and then Justin TV really became a gaming centric live stream. There was other stuff going on as well on Justin TV, but then they decided to go full on Twitch. And hey, what's up, money? They decided to go full on Twitch, put all their investments. Then there's the Amazon acquisition that took place last year, and since like really Twitch has been the leader when it comes to streaming and distribution of live casts for all gaming centric. And we've seen a lot of these E3 shows being streamed on Twitch. Remember the Bethesda conference that took place at E3?
Yep.
There's a lot of gaming announcements that are being on Twitch as well. But yeah, this specific one that we're talking really about is their main or this free July 31st announcement of the Hitbox. I really do think they are reaching out for broadcasters on Twitch or other mediums that they're able to earn money. And as a partner broadcaster, I am excited when people sub. And sure, I do get a small little kickback from it, which is great. But more importantly, I appreciate when people decide to sub to my channel or Wiz's channel, Larissa's channel, whoever it might be, Chelsea's channel, for example. The excitement, the way that the Twitch community reacts when someone decides to subscribe, like just being a viewer, hanging out in the stream, watching, let's say, my silly subpar gaming, and someone likes to go above and beyond and decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to see what their emotes are like. I really like the community here. I want to, probably further feel in depth in this community. It's really exciting. And just knowing that um, the hurdles or the amount of time that was put into being a partnered streamer or prior to it and continuing it, I think it shows. And when you do put hours and hours into something that you truly enjoy doing, and for me, I really do enjoy streaming on Twitch, and see it pay off. Like when I first started, I remember just playing just Battlefield 4 on PC and just testing out how OBS works. Like I had no knowledge of how things worked. Like, oh, I'm just gonna stream because I have a few buddies here watching and just want to see how things work. I was just curious. And then it just further grew into something more. And just knowing that what I've accomplished in the time of streaming, and I started back in March 2014, have come a long way, and I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry for more. I'm always looking at ways to improving and reaching out to new people. It's great when people come by, for the
Sure.
first time in your channel. Like, hey, Dorian, I'm actually new to your channel, and the welcoming from my moderators, from subscribers, and just viewers in general that have hung around. They would welcome them with open arms, and it's really, really amazing because I remember when I first started just watching Twitch, and I would, like Larissa's channel, I would say hi to her and a few other people that were there, her mods at the time, and it kind of became like a little thing I'll do each time. Come by in the evening, having a bite to eat, watch her play or someone else play, and see the community welcome me. It's like a home away from home type of thing. Like there's a lot of really good community here. The camaraderie, the rapport, the Twitch chats can be always funny. It's great.
For
And
sure.
with the current state of Hitbox, I'm not familiar what the community is like. I'm sure they have their own. I'm sure there's a lot of great streamers on there as well, and they have their great communities or similar sharing thoughts that I have. However, just knowing that with the current partner stuff, I feel like what you and Wiz are sharing, like if people were just going over there just to get some ad revenue and some money, I feel like you are streaming for the wrong reasons. At least in my opinion. I always want, and I continue to stream for fun. Like, hey, I want to show my subpar, silly gameplay, if you want to call it, even if it even is gameplay. Want to show and have fun because I'll be playing a stealth game and I'll screw up, and like everyone in the chat's like, "Why you do that? Why you do that, Dorian?" And I'm like, "I don't know. This is my first time playing this game."
Why you do this?
That happened with me when I was playing Life is Strange. When I was playing
yes.
that, and I would like make a decision. I'm just like, well, guys, it's my decision ultimately. I mean, could I rewind? Yes, but I want to see how this plays out. I want to see if I made the right move for what happens in the future of the game.
Yeah. I remember I actually just played all the episodes. I think the new episodes should be coming out sometime soon. But yeah, I remember just playing in general, just streaming on Twitch, and the people, like I just couldn't see myself like abandoning a community. Like I was discouraged when I only applied twice, if you guys didn't know. I applied once when I had about 2,500 3,000 followers, being really steady with the PS3 GTA community, what was going on there back about a year ago. And when I was declined, I was like, dang, I thought this would be something really amazing, but at the same time, like, hey, I know why I started doing this is because I'm having fun. Rather me playing and spectating my own gameplay alone, and people hear me like murmur to myself and talk to myself. I can share this with others that are interested in the game I'm playing or just in general see how I play. Everyone on Twitch has a different playing style. It's like, wow, why did Dorian make this choice? Pretty straightforward that he should have done this. Well, in my mind, I felt like I made the right call in, let's say, The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us, one of those Telltale games.
For sure.
But hearing others' experiences, like, oh, Dorian, if you did not know, if you did this, like, oh, interesting. So, like in Life is Strange, actually, let's rewind and see what this person says instead of like being like a jerk to them, you know? I'd see how this goes, but yeah, earning being a partner, and once I got partnered last December, I was thrilled that I was accepted, and knowing that, the community here will be able to share this. It wasn't just me. I know I'm the broadcaster, right? I'm the one that decides to go live, but what makes the stream is, besides the subpar gameplay, is just having the great community of the moderators, the loyal followers, the subs. Um, Enjoyable each time I go live. Like sometimes I have down days, and or I'm just burnt out from a certain game, and people understand like, hey, you can always choose a different game. Because I remember when I would be streaming GTA religiously, man, being a facilitator for that game, I was really burnt out. And you know what? At the same time, some days I like to take time off, and I rather provide a great quality stream,
Hmm.
a great quality stream where I have the energy, I have the focus, the attention span. Make that a great stream rather than, you know, if I'm feeling burnt out, tired, exhausted, all sorts of things. Um, I've done streams like those in the past, and they're not as rewarding. They're not. It's not the standard that I put out on a stream. So it's not this. I'm falling below my own standards. So sometimes I do take time, just to get my head together, collect my thoughts, and but more importantly, like, it's just being a broadcaster and fortunate enough to be a partner streamer. The people that I've met on here is great, and I wouldn't ever want to, uh if someone is on the rise and they're being declined partnership, and that's something that they really would like to do to level up their channel, I would really ask them to, like, would they really want to give up their community that they've established? And what Mini Kev said, let's say if you had 80 loyal viewers
Hmm.
and you're kept on, you know, being declined. I think of those 80 people that have come out, watched your stream, shared those experiences, and then if you decide to just jump ship and go to, let's say, Hitbox because of their partner program, I don't think many of them will follow because that's a whole different ecosystem. Meaning you gotta download the app. The app might not
Hmm.
work as well as the one on Twitch. Just different site, different way of think, different layout. I remember going on. I only streamed on Hitbox once. This is when, because Twitch was down, no one could, I think, could stream. So I decided, hey, I'll just try Hitbox for fun. And the one thing that they thought they had really well was the delay. It was about 5 seconds,
Hmm.
um, which was great. Like I'll be playing Battlefield and be able to everyone be like, "Wow, Dorian, you're responding so fast." But if that's one thing, if Twitch can do somehow in the future, that would be awesome. But other than that, I wouldn't want to see anyone leave Twitch, and they look like have a promising community because they've been discouraged of being not partnered. Again, after all, we're here for the games. We're here for fun. It's just a little little bonus on the side. That's why I look at it like, hey, you know what? To keep my gaming addiction going, I'll use some of the funds that I have towards the next game or the next gaming accessory. Or like I like to give back. Let's do a giveaway for a video game, a Steam code, PSN, whatever it might be. Give back. And I've been really fortunate to have the community that I'm a part of, and I think most people would share that thought within my community of just fun, games, laughter, all that good stuff.
For sure. So to me, like I just kind of had a thought, like going to Hitbox and stuff like this. So the only thing that I feel like it would be like, let's just say, for story's sake, that I decided to go to Hitbox. So at my old job, I used to have to travel a little bit. I'd have to go to different towns and fill in or whatever because I was, I was in management. So I would go to a different store and I'd be fulfilling the same job, but I'm around different people, and I didn't feel like,
It was the same.
obviously I wasn't at home, but you're there, you're doing the same job, but you don't know anybody. Um, kind of, you don't belong there. I think that's what would happen if like I would go to Hitbox.
Hmm.
You'd still be streaming, you'd still be doing the same thing, but it's just a whole different sect of people that you have no idea who they are. That's the only thing I can draw a parallel. And if anybody travels out there for work, maybe you can relate, maybe, but that's the only parallel I can draw in comparison. It would just feel really weird and out of place to do because I've been on Twitch for so long. Um,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So but like I said, you go to the the job, you do the job because you do it every day, but you're in a different spot, and you're
Hmm.
surrounded by different people. So to me, that would kind of be like the same thing of trying to swap over for that. Um, so yes, any final thoughts on the hitbox thing?
Um, I like competition. It promotes growth. But with the current state where Hitbox, like they've had some things like, hey, you can do 4K streaming at 60 frames per second. I'm like, in my mind, not many people can actually even watch a
Yeah.
4K stream, and if what the bit rates are, like I think just in North America alone, the average download bit rate, um, let's just say if I think I saw it was like 10, so let's just say 10 megabits for a perfect 4K stream. You're talking like 50 megabit up type stuff. Otherwise, if you I've seen people try to do 1080 60 frames on Twitch, because the bandwidth, um with the upload on Twitch, they're saying, please don't go over that 3500
Hmm.
or 3.5 megabit. And when people, go over, you're actually violating the terms of service. If you are a partner caster, you're at risk of having your channel being warned and stuff. I know a few others have had that issue, but yeah, even if just the whole idea of doing 1080 60 FPS right now, or the whole thought of 4K, man, it's going to look bad. It's going to look like Minecraft got put into a blender uh with like taco sauce or whatever it is. It's going to look bad. Um it's going to look really really bad. So I don't know. I think it's with this whole partner thing, it is a reach. They want to bring other people, and for the reasoning of, I guess, money. Again, I think the great communities have always started off on streams because they're having fun. They're not, their objective is to take money. If you're looking at being a full-time streamer right now on Twitch, and I wish all the best for everyone, but it's that's that's a large thing to undertake, in my opinion. Um, to be financially stable. Um, I if I set like certain number figures on how much uh contributions I receive
Hmm.
and that type of stuff, like if I don't reach that, then if that was your set out goal, then I feel like you're doing it wrong because just gonna be disappointed for the financial gains. Again, I've always did this for fun, my own enjoyment. Sometimes I think I'm just playing on my own, but then I'm like, oh, there's a chat window here. Oh, I missed out chat for a moment. I zoned out because I was watching that Last of Us sequence. You know, something going on in that game and got so. But
Yes, yes, The
that's
Last of Us.
that would be my kind of closing thoughts is people that decide that they want to go over there and explore, go ahead. Yeah, go check it out. But
Yeah.
I would like if you're having a community that comes by it, those loyal, let's say 5, 10 people each stream. I wouldn't want to abandon them because that's an extra link and another site bookmark. You know, there's a lot of things. Oh, got to make a account over there. Oh, my account name's not the same. You have your own identity here. At least I have my own identity.
Yeah, for sure.
I went over there. I'm. It's like a ghost town. Or you might get that one person who says hi, and I'm like, oh man, this is not good.
So, I had a closing thought about that, but and then it just left. So, oh yeah, and somebody actually touched on it in chat. So if they're going to Hitbox to get partnered, they said they're doing it for the wrong reason. Like you said as well, Dorian. So the people who are streaming for the wrong reason, no matter what it is, you can generally tell that by the way they interact with chat and the way, how they carry themselves on chat, stuff like that. So if it may seem alluring to go to Hitbox because of money, but then it's not really, you're not building a community and you're not having fun, and you don't really, because there's a lot of people, there's always that one person that as soon as you hit that go live button, they're there. There's always that one person. It's always first in your stream. You're like, oh, there you are. What's going on? It's almost like you see somebody when you're out like shopping that you haven't seen for a long time or whatever, and you sit there and talk to them, but they're always that first person in your chat saying hey, and it comes with like a emotional feeling almost versus just well, I'm going to stream to try to make some money. Like that just seems kind of to me, and that's my closing thought on this Hitbox thing. If they're doing it to try, and I get it, they're a business, they want to make money. You got to try to draw people in. The fact that they have like a staged partnership makes me feel a little bit better about the whole thing. But at the same time, I just don't think. Maybe somebody that's looking into streaming might be a thing. They never streamed before. Maybe, I can go over here. And you can remember, I'm sure all you two guys remember, like, that very first ever donation you got. Like, oh, somebody gave me money. Like, and it was $2, but it don't matter. Somebody gave me $2, That was the coolest feeling ever. So, I don't know. That's the only thing I can, that's the only thing I can close with on that topic.
I honestly don't remember my first follower because I didn't have, like, alert or it was just, like, I think I had MooBot in the tab and it went beep. I'm like, oh, thank you for following. I would have to go through the very beginning list, but yeah, I remember when I first received my like first contribution like that. You're talking about Solfus. I was surprised because what happened was I actually I'll have a short story. The reason why I didn't have a button or a link for people to do that for a while is that like here I'm streaming for fun. I don't want to think of it any other way. And then others in the chat like, hey, we would like to help you out by like, hey, you're providing a fun, entertaining stream for us. Maybe use this towards your next game or peripheral. I'm like, oh, okay, well, interesting. And then my buddy of mine is like, you know what, Dorian, the church and charities donations. I'm like, oh boy, I know what you're trying to do there, you funny guy. And I said, all right, we'll put one up. And it was within the first night after putting it up, someone decided like, "Oh, you finally have a button there. All right, give me one moment." And then I was playing Metal Gear, and um, yeah, that was really neat. That was really neat, and I'm always thankful for anyone that decides that they want to do that, or sub. But yeah, I guess last closing remarks regarding Hitbox is that all the best to them. I'm here to stay. The journey's been amazing on and the adventures that we have each stream on Twitch, and the community here is fantastic. So I wouldn't want to change anything that I've done regarding Twitch and the people I've met. Got all of that Selfless, got all of that Wiz, and then Spirit, Craig, Bill,
Mm-hmm.
podcast.
Hey,
Yep.
mine, Dorian, mine was the same thing. I would stream for fun, and then people started, "Hey, what's your donate button?" And then I'm like, "Well, yeah, I don't have one because of this and that and whatever." And I was like, at the end of the stream, I was like, people were trying to give me money that stream. I was like, they don't have to, but it'd be cool if it happened. So then I just, I linked everything up with PayPal, and then I was like, I had the alert set up and everything, and it popped up on my screen. Sounds like a cash register every time I get a donation. And it's just shing, and I just stopped. I was like, oh, somebody gave me money. But Wiz, you got any final in conclusions on the Hitbox thing? We're about to head into the break, unless you have any final thoughts on the Hitbox.
I do not have any final thoughts.
All right, so guys and gals out in the audience, we're gonna throw up the break screen. Gonna play that Leader Dog. Shout out to Leader Dog again for letting us use their music. Go check them out on Facebook. It's facebook.com/LeaderDog. Tell them the podcast sent you. Very good group of guys for letting us use their music. And we shall see you soon.
Come and see me. Can't you see me? It's so easy to believe in you. I believed in you. Your intention, my addiction. You'll be safe in here. I was saved in here. Rainbow shine on. Rainbow shine on. Want tomorrow. No tomorrow. Come together for the here and now, and we need it now. Walk the narrow, straight and narrow. Look behind me, there's a light out there. In the light I stare. Rainbows shine on. Rainbows shine on. Rainbows shine on. here, there's a song that's gotta be unsung. Way out here, there's a wrong that's gotta be undone. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. Way out here, there's a dog that I can't tame. Way out here, there's a grave that calls my name. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. Hey now, can I save me from myself in a wicked generation? Gotta save me from myself in a wicked generation. Way out here, there's a heart as hard as rock. Way out here, there's a kid that just needs to talk. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. Way out here, there's a dog that I can't tame. Way out here, there's a grave that calls my name. Spend my time getting wicked till I choke. Gotta spend my youth on something before I go broke. Can I save me from myself in a wicked generation? Gotta save me from myself in a wicked generation. Can I save me from myself in a wicked generation? Gotta save me from myself in a wicked generation. 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 got me. And everything I do, I need you to remind me. I need to be like you. I need to be loved. Remind me. Remind me. Remind me. Remind. Remind me. Get down! Swear not to make a sound. Better look around. I gotta do what you say and do what you do. Shut down! Ideas in a different light. Believe me, I can go all night. I'm leaving on a red eye. I'm going to save you. I'm coming through the other side. Looking to the deep and wide. No better time to decide to break through. World shaker. World shaker. Can I get it as a part of the plan? Trying not to rise against. Getting too intense. You gotta do what I say. You do what I do. Reborn. Learning how to think again. Ready to be shedding skin. Believing in a newfound faith to change you. You're coming through the other side. Looking to the deep and wide. No better time to decide to break through. World shaker. World shaker.
Call him Bill. He's a natural born world shaker.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Coming off of that break, If anybody is just now tuning in, VODs will be up on YouTube later tonight, early tomorrow. However you view that time, that early AM time of day. Um, and as always, all the past episodes are also on the same channel. If you're just now tuning in, thanks for coming on in. If you're still here, thanks for hanging out with us. We got that special guest, Wiz. Call me
Hello.
Wiz. Thanks for coming on in again, Wiz. My dude, Dorian. Gotta love that Dorian.
Welcome back, everyone.
Special thanks again to Leader Dog. This is the music you've been hearing all night long. These guys were kind enough to allow me the use of the music during the show. So very cool of them indeed. So if you're just now coming in, first two topics we talked about were the games that we played growing up. Very, very fun time. Nostalgia all over the place. And then we talked about the situation at Hitbox. We are going to get into the allure of esports, and then we will close the show out with the current state of beta games. So, esports. I'm diving in because I have all the info. I'm going in with all the info on esports. So the allure of esports and the type of money that is being thrown around. So I've done some research. All of the recorded tournaments in esports for this month alone, we have $20,731,011.86 handed out in prizes, cash, to people playing in esport tournaments. Now, I have a list of different games that are all held tournaments for. We got League of Legends, CSGO, StarCraft 2, Heroes of the Storm, Call of Duty AW, Mortal Kombat X, Super Smash Brothers, Ultra Street Fighter, a game called Reflex, which I haven't even heard of, FIFA 15, Hearthstone, Dota 2, Rocket League, World of Tanks, Smite, Skill, Special Force 2 is another game I haven't heard of, and Battlefield 4. So amongst all of these games, just this month alone, we're talking $20.7 million being thrown around. So what we want to get into, and I'm a fan of esports. I really am. I used to follow it like religiously. I've kind of not so much anymore, but I still kind of keep up with who's winning tournaments and whatever. So we want to dive into the allure of the esports, because if they're giving this amount of money away in a month's time, obviously there's some fan base there. All the money, well, not all of it, but most of it is generated through sponsorships and ads and stuff like this. And if they didn't have the people watching, then they wouldn't have all the support that they have. So where's the line? What makes somebody go, you know what? I'm going to go down to the whatever arena they're having the tournament in my town tonight, and I'm going to sit there all day long and watch other people play video games. Now, Wiz, what you think about this, man?
I So how many games did you list? Do you know? And I know you said 20 million.
17 games.
17 games.
And just this month alone. This month only. So from the 2nd of August was the first recorded to the 24th, which is now.
Where does that money come from? Like
All right,
20 million?
So the money comes from sponsorships and ads. So you got Red Bull, stuff like this. All of those types of things. Razer, what is it? What's the other one? Steel Series headsets. All these things. They're all sponsored by different teams and whatever. So that's where the teams get the money to compete. They see, and it's comparable. Is it comparable? It might not be comparable, but it kind of is at the same time. So if back in the day when Michael Jordan had his own shoes, and he's walking around and playing the game in his own shoes. Everybody wants some Jordans. Everybody want to be like Mike. That was back in the day. So you see that professional gamer wearing that shiny headset, like, oh, dude, check out the headset he's got. I want that headset because he's a cool guy or whatever. And there it is. So people go out and it's free advertisement. So you put you put your product on the person who a lot of people see. Also, another thing that people that have noticed happening is, especially with MOBAs, they will sell like certain skins within the game. So you can buy a skin for like whatever character you're like playing a lot. And it makes them look different. Nothing else really changes. And like a percentage of that money goes into the prize pool of the next tournament they're going to have.
Okay.
So they pull so people from the community are dumping in money. You got advertisers jumping in money, and then you have like companies like Razer and SteelSeries and all these other people who put out peripherals are also dumping in money.
I just think that's insane.
If you stop and think about it, is a ridiculous amount of money, and that's why we're talking about it right now.
That's a lot of money in a month for prize pools. I think I think it could be used more wisely, I guess, or for other things. I don't even know how I feel about that. I just think that's crazy, that $20 million for prize pools in a month.
Now, that is all. Now, on the list that I have compiled and did research on, that is just the prize pool money of all the major tournaments. That doesn't count, tournaments that are held for like, 20 people or so online, for $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all like the MLGs, the WCSs,
like all the big major ones.
Yeah, the LCS. The I don't think that it was anytime soon, but like DreamHack and all the big events where they actually physically go to compete. Like you can compete an online tournament right here at your computer, but those are the ones that people go to and sit on platform, and it's production and it's streamed and that whole thing. Just those tournaments, obviously, they're
mind blowing.
Obviously, they're the bigger tournaments and they're going to have more money, but it doesn't count all the small ones that are put on by just the community.
Yeah.
That really like people who I guess quote unquote aren't good enough to play like professionally, but they still like that competitive edge, so they play in tournaments anyway. I've done this. I competed in a and don't blow this out of proportion, chat. Do not do this. But I competed in a worldwide tournament in StarCraft 2, and I finished in the top 11%, which I thought was good, because if you take the 400,000 people who entered this tournament, I'll take top 100. I'll take top 11% out of that community, no doubt. So yes, all the money. Where's the allure? Like would you go to an event and say there was a CS:GO tournament, like right down the road from your house? Like, would you go like pay a fee to get in and watch it? That's my like.
Probably not if I could watch it online.
Well, I mean, okay, so you have. So I'm gonna take it like this. So you can sit at home and watch a football game, right? If you like football, or you can go to the football game and watch the game, and you can be there and be in that atmosphere. Is it different? Yeah, some people like the comfort of their couch, and they got the DVR. If they got to stop watching the game, they can pause it, whatever. But to me, and I am a football fan, or you can relate this to any sports that you like. You can't replace the atmosphere of being there.
No, you can, but like me, I don't mind sitting at home and watching the game. I get to eat. I get to choose like what I want to eat, being comfortable, and just enjoying the game rather than just eating what's there, and then having the seats be super close together. I don't know. It's
I
just
get that. Well, I can recall. I'll put it to you like this. I can recall, sports is the only thing I can really draw a parallel to because,
yeah.
and I will bring up a quote that a professional gamer actually said later, but I can remember a time. I think I was still in high school. Um, Me and my dad went to the game. It was a college game. It was a big rivalry
Hmm.
game. That's that game that's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? The in-state rivalry thing. It was Thanksgiving. No, it was the day after Thanksgiving. Me and my dad went. It was cold. Oh my God, it was cold. It was raining. It was terrible. It was the most god awful football game I've ever seen because it was cold and wet. There was, nobody was really, you couldn't really, everybody was kind of back and forth. It was 3 and out every time. A lot of running. Um, but like legit, like the last minute and a half, like everything went crazy. There was so many points scored in just like the last minute and a
Hmm.
half of the game. It was crazy. And there's no replacing that. Like if I was sitting at home watching that, I would have been excited because my team won, and it's like, but I was there.
Hmm.
I can look and go, be like, you know what? I was there when that happened. People talk about it. Oh, you remember the time this happened? I was there, dude. I saw it happen. I was there. That feeling, I guess, is what at least the people that go to the tournaments have.
Hmm.
Now, I will quote, I don't know how many people are really big into esports, but I will quote Greg Fields from Team EG, which is better known as Idra. Um, he related it to people growing up. They played sports, little league, whatever, high school. Maybe some people played it in college, but they didn't have what it took to play pro.
Hmm.
But they still watch football, or they still watch basketball or baseball, whatever the sport is. He related it to the same thing as people turning out for all these StarCraft events because he's a pro star. Well, he was a pro StarCraft player. He turned to a different game. So you have these people sitting at home that play the game. They like the game. They're not professional level, but they just
Hmm.
enjoy the game. So they go watch the pros play. He related it to the same thing as like watching pro football or whatever. The people like football. They played football growing up, but they're they don't have the skill or whatever to
Hmm.
play in the NFL. He related it to that grand scheme of things. And obviously, there's a grand scheme of somewhere. We're talking about $20.7 million.
Yeah.
So where's the allure? Like you're not gonna go. You said you wouldn't go. You would chill in your chair
Yeah.
with your pink headphones and watch it online, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was right down the road.
Yeah, but most like probably. I don't know. I just why.
Would anything get you out? Like if a bunch of if somebody called you and be like, dude, there's a thing going on. Me and this guy and this guy and this guy are going. You want to go with us? Would you go then in a group setting? Just
Probably if it was like I don't know, it's different going by yourself and not knowing anybody than going with
sure,
like a couple of your friends that share this the same interest.
sure. I get that. So what I'm trying to get at is something. There is a variable that would bring you out to go to that place and watch it, regardless of how long. Maybe you go for an hour and be like, okay, this is cool. I'm going home or whatever. But there is a variable there that would break you
Yeah.
out and go see it. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm trying to draw. I'm just trying to draw comments out of you. So do you see the allure? Can you like do you have
I mean, I understand why people would go to competitions and see like their favorite team or their favorite player perform, um, because maybe it's something that, or maybe it's like something that like they figured out like about that person, or they discovered that person way back when, and they've just been watching them ever since, and then they actually get that chance to actually go see them display their talents in real life instead of through like a TV screen or a monitor or a phone.
right? Because if you ever watch I don't know if anybody in the chat or if anybody in here has ever actually watched like an online stream or whatever, or any kind of background like things that happen. But they actually have, just like professional sports, they have a table and a designated time to where you can go, pick your favorite guy, stand in line, get his autograph. You know, it's that sort of fandom that we're talking about that people have, and the people who are really, into it, they can tell you all the people who make up the team, what they play, depending on what kind of game it is,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Just like the crazed football fan can tell you what happened on, December the 3rd, 19 whatever, you know, it's that kind of, energy that people have. I think it's great, honestly. Like I said, I'm a gamer for life, and I love it. But we are talking about a substantial amount of money here
Mm-hmm.
for essentially playing video games. That's ridiculous. 17 games, tournaments, just this month alone.
That's a ridiculous amount of money for a month.
Yeah, it really is. And when we first started talking about throwing around topics, it was, it was the middle of the month, and it was around. I could probably look up the date if I wanted to, but I'd have to do some digging. But at that moment in time, when I found all these stats, it was around like 14 million. And then it jumped to 20 in like 12 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There's definitely what they're doing, and they're doing it right. And it sounds like eventually, I remember, eventually probably get onto like the main like TV outlet, or even if that's still even going to be available still. A lot of things are going like internet, these days, on demand, Twitter or not Twitter, Netflix, kind of leading or paving the way. What the future is like when it comes to
yeah.
video content, and wouldn't be surprised we see like cable companies and satellite companies, all that stuff is going to go really true digital with like internet stuff. But this is a huge thing. Like almost 21 million just this month alone, and funds being allocated for this stuff. That's a lot. Like it's not just like something small. That's a lot there. But for me, regarding esports, I know we had this discussion, not on the financials and what the current state and what draws fans in, because I remember we talked about like Olympics last time, which was interesting. I'm a little more informed this time, but I remember we had this discussion and I wasn't too sure exactly, but yeah, we're seeing if there's people funding this, and I'm just going through the list of organizations that I'm familiar. There's Asus, you guys know them for computer parts, Gigabyte for computer parts. We're seeing actually game developers, like the StarCraft community for sure. Nvidia. We're talking about Raid Call even on there, which is a voice communication service. Team Liquid, I'm familiar with them.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised there would be like an electronic, some sort of Olympic maybe down the road. But that's for a different conversation. But I wouldn't be surprised it ever goes that way. It will go that way. But yes, indeed. If I was invited to go to an event like that, right, with a few buddies, and let's say if it's something more relative, so out of all the tournaments, of all the games that have been listed, I would probably be a little more inclined with Counter-Strike, just because I'm familiar with the shooting mechanics. And again, there's a whole slew of games. I see the old Call of Duty 4 on there. Super Smash Bros. That's actually quite entertaining. You remember we were talking about arcades, and you have that person beside you.
Yep.
I know the arcades are really scarce, but seeing like the energy. I think there's like a huge tournament thing called Evo, right? That takes place. I think in July or in June. I can't remember. A lot of people go there just to watch their favorite um, fighter, or the virtual fighter character kick butt in like Mortal Kombat or Super Smash Bros. And it gets really intense. And the environment there, it's not just like a LAN party. It's nothing like that. We're talking about lots of people. Like there's light. The production values are there. You have professional broadcasters there, or
Yeah.
that suit the bill, and it's all laid out really well. Like it's not just like I don't want, I guess, like half-assed. They go full on it, man. They don't slack any of the production values. Like they put this as if this was like some real.
And if you
Let's.
not to, but I don't mean to cut you off, but like you mentioned two subjects that kind of I forgot to mention. So there are people in this world, and there's many of them who make a living off of casting what's going on in these tournaments. They're breaking it down, just like you turn on Monday Night Football. There's those 2 or 3 guys that talk about what's going on in the game. Same thing. You got people casting, giving you the play-by-play. You also have people in the stands with signs and the little balloon things, popping them together, making noise. It's the whole thing, man. It's not just like some kind of thing that happens, in some kind of back alley small room. We're talking about stadiums selling out. Go ahead,
That's
Dorian.
crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dorian. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Definitely. It's continues to grow, and if the numbers, the numbers themselves speak. The numbers speak for itself. So, unfortunately, subpar gaming from Dorian. Don't think that would happen. If there's a subpar, subpar esports, then perhaps. But
Can we make-
I know if there was ever such a thing of Dorian being a part of Counter Strike, it would be like people like go mid long, or I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Rip, he's dead. That's what it would be like. That's what it would be.
Oh my gosh! So here's another, and I've mentioned this before when we on the we hit on esports, and the whole topic was supposed to be colleges offering scholarships to esport players and having their own esport teams. But that whole thing kind of turned into a different debate on its own. But as mentioned during that conversation, South Korea, like, you can turn on primetime TV and watch esports. Like, it'd be like, for us turning on something made like NBC or something like this and watching somebody play CSGO or StarCraft or whatever. It's on TV. They don't play around over there. That's how mainstream it is. It's crazy. I looked it up, and I'll just say it because it's posted on the internet, so it's not really anything that's secret. But the highest earning from a StarCraft 2 player, he goes by the name of MVP. That's his screen name, and rightly so, I guess, because he's made like $543,000 this year alone off of playing in tournaments. I mean, that's a good living, right?
I mean, I'd be good for I'd be good for 500,000 for a year.
That's a good living, and we're talking about all these people that do this. They're generally, especially in the StarCraft community, I don't know how it is in every other community, because I'm really familiar with the StarCraft community. They are young. We're talking about 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. Once you get to like 25 and you're a StarCraft, you're the old guy. Seriously, that's a real thing. So, what do? You're 19, 20 years old, making $500K a year. This is all right.
Bet your parents are proud.
Right? Probably something like, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to go play video games for a living. And then I can hear the wrath coming in, as soon as I said it. But if I brought home $500,000,
you guys are gonna want some, huh?
They would probably change their mind. It's a real thing. Tournaments have been around for a long time. a very long time, just not widely known.
Yeah.
The WCS was like one of the first thing. It stands for World Cyber Games, and they would hold like regionals or whatever, and then they would have you'd win the tournament in like the Northwest or whatever, and have different divisions, and they would break it down and have people representing every country in a tournament at the end to play StarCraft 1 back in the day. But now it's like just blew up, and there's a tournament everywhere, and people go, and there's teams, there's team houses. The Evil Geniuses house is in Arizona. They have a house. Everybody in their team lives there. They all have a room where it's all if you can watch the streamers. They're all lined up. They have all their things. They're all streaming. There's a monster cooler right behind them, like you would see at a gas station or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's paid for. Everything's paid for, man. They just go and live in the house, play StarCraft.
I'm gonna go visit them since I live in Arizona.
Play it. Do you really? I didn't know you
Yeah.
lived there. So I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they built a house. They had a house built. They did a thing. It was a tour. They did a video tour of like, hey, here's our new house, whatever. They walked through it. It's upstairs, downstairs. Got living arrangements for everybody there. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and this is all over video games. That when I was growing up, I was told would warp my mind, and now people are like making a very, very good living off of doing this. And even the casters, man. The casters, that's all they do. Full-time cast.
Mhm.
And they make plenty of money.
It's crazy, like the the gaming community as like a general standpoint, like how far it's come, and the amount of money in esports that has been accumulated.
Before, like when we were growing up, and we were talking about all these games we used to play when we were growing up, like it really wasn't a wide accepted thing. Like, a handful of people, out of 20 or so may have a Nintendo. But now you would be hard pressed to go to anybody's house and not find some kind of gaming something. Whether it be a handheld, a console, computer, there's games on your phone, tablets, whatever. Somebody's got a game somewhere downloaded on, a mobile device, or they have a console.
Yeah.
It's more, it's becoming more okay to be a gamer, So, and it's just coming out to the forefront. I'm still waiting for the time. So, since we're on the subject, and I'll ask Wiz about this. So, colleges are now, like I said, giving out scholarships to support esport teams. What do you think about that?
How does that even work?
It is considered. So, let me tell you what happened. So we did some research. Well, I did some research, and I actually Robert Morris University is a small college. They were the first college to ever offer esports scholarships. I actually contacted their director and had a phone interview with him, and I asked him a bunch of questions, whatever. I'm like, so whose idea was this to happen, and how did y'all even make this a thing? And he was like, so it was actually my idea. And he was like, when I was growing up, I was always, a fan of gaming, and then I got married and had kids, and then I got working at the college, I just got busy, didn't have time to play games anymore. But he's like, I know the community, and I don't want to get into the whole debate like we did last time. But he was like, if you really look at somebody playing like League of Legends, they, it's a group of people. They have to work together. They have to do teamwork. They have to communicate. They have to practice. The only thing they're not doing is like, lifting weights and doing cardio to keep up with, like a physical game, He said, but other than that, they're doing everything else that a team sport does. And they were small schools, so they were trying to offer different ways to get more people in. The scholarship thing kind of, it was presented, it was accepted, and then they had somebody for 2 months on scholarship, and then he went pro in League of Legends. And so since then, a lot more universities have taken on that, and now they have like their own little collegiate division of esports that they play, and they play like just a handful of games. It's like it's like League of Legends, Dota, Hearthstone. And there's something else in there I couldn't remember. I can't remember. It's been a minute. But that's how it started. And now everybody else followed suit. And so are you okay with this? Given the current state of $20 million being given away this month? I mean, so there's pro gamers. It follows suit, right? Pro gamers. You got collegiate gamers.
I don't.
You don't like this?
No.
Nobody likes this. Nobody liked it in the last podcast, and I was the only one. I'm down.
I think that, like, yes, it is separate, but it still follows, like, some sort of guidelines. But I think that there should just be pro gamers, and, like, there should be pro gamers, people that are trying to be a pro gamer, and then there's just people that play for fun.
Sure.
I don't think that it should be.
All right, so let me ask you this: do you think it's cool that the university did that to try to think outside the box to draw people to their establishment? Because it's essentially, at the end of the day, a college is like a business. You have to have people there.
I mean, yeah, they got to make money.
You have to have people paying tuition, And the scholarship fund, it's not like a free ride. There's like stages of scholarships, the way it works. So it's like, the top tier is like a 70% kind of paid tuition. The second tier is kind of like the B team, if you will. Kind of, they have faith in them that they'll be a good player, but they need, more practice and whatever. It's for the idea to kind of, practice and then eventually be on the A. So, but, the second tier scholarship doesn't pay as much. So it's not like a free ride. Like some of these, I
just think that's ridiculous. I just think that's.
But okay.
Unnecessary.
Can you at all appreciate the fact they just did that to try to reach out and gain more people for their establishment? Because they actually have an arena. They have an esport arena, and it was sponsored.
It's a genius idea.
Yeah.
I just think that it's kind of unnecessary.
I love it, man. I'm the only one that's down for this idea. I want esports to be all over the place, and I want it to be in the Olympics and everything else. Dorian, man, $20 million, man. I keep looking down at this sheet of paper. 21
million.
20.7 this month alone. So I don't know, man. I grew up on the esport. Well, I didn't really grow up on it, but I followed it very heavily. I personally, if anything, where I live, nothing ever interesting comes around here. But if for some reason, I guess Atlanta would be the closest place for me, and that's like a 6-hour drive. I would be down. I would be totally down to go and see this. Just for that feeling. Like I said, the atmosphere, like going to the football game versus, sitting at home. Both are fun, but you can't replicate atmosphere at home. So I would do it. And I would drive to Canada, and I would drive to Arizona and pick you guys up, make you come with me, and maybe we could go on a road trip, and maybe you guys could see the excitement like I see it. But I'm down, dude. Anything that brings video games to the forefront, whatever it is, it being on TV, news, where every now and again will kind of draw people, draw attention to like esports. Esports was. The Robert Morris University was actually on ESPN. They did a thing on them, so that was cool. I'm down. Anything that brings games to the forefront, I'm for it. 20 million, guys, almost $21 million just this month alone. I can't get over that. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna start practicing as soon as this show is over. I'm just kidding.
WASD macro keys.
Yeah, we need to start that subpar gameplay tournament, Dorian. We should do that.
Would be the I'll be the first ones starting off, and definitely get Panic in there. You know, he definitely knows how to. As he I'm going back in time, but what was he saying on the past podcast? He was like, will people come by just for the great community rather than the bogey subpar gameplay in Destiny,
and not
that
the
Destiny
gameplay.
life.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But, Twisted in chat is right. The video games, most of the time in the news, gets bad rap. You see somebody
Oh yeah.
shoot up a school, and it's because they play GTA and all these violent games. They like to blame video games for everything. It's nice to see something good come out of games, and I would call, once again, 20,731,000. I got it written right there. I say that's a good thing coming out of video games. I don't know what you guys think. But yeah. Any other kind of thoughts on this topic? Because I personally could talk all night on this, but I don't want to hold.
I would.
I don't want to hold everybody up.
If I went with, would I go on my own to an esport type of thing, like a tournament to watch? It would have to vary by it would be depending on the fees. I won't be familiar, but would like to go to one? Sure, because you'd be able to meet up with other people that are interested in. Maybe that's their first time too. Many people will be going there for their first time, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, cool. Well, nice to meet you. My name's Dorian." Meet the other person, and they'll ask you what brought you here. I'm like, "Oh, it's my first time. I'm just interested to see what this is all about." Then they'll ask what games I play. I'm like, "Well, I play like Legend of Zelda." I'm like, "Really? Wow. That could have been. You're gonna do like speed runs with that?" I'm like, "Nope. I'm slow gun when it comes to that." But it'd be interesting to get their takes in regards of I guess other things else than the esport itself. But it'd be just interesting just to see what it's like, because you do have, like you're saying, you have these people with like these balloon type of things cheering them on, and they got you got the production values, the lighting and sound, and really immerses you. I remember seeing like some StarCraft stuff going on. It was just really insane amount of just the amount of production they go into it. Like they have their stream feed, and they have the broadcasters calling out what they're doing in the game, because if I was a broadcaster, I'd be like, that guy's clicking buttons, that guy's doing front flips or something. I don't know.
And if you ever look, you talk about this, the setup is real, dude. They have crane cameras and all that stuff, dude. It's a real whole production. They don't hold anything back on the production side. So if anybody, some good insight, you might actually get some insight and enjoyment out of this story, and anybody else watching there. And I've mentioned this before, but there is a documentary on YouTube that you can find. It's called Sons of StarCraft, and it actually follows around two casters and their kind of journey getting into casting and everything. And they live in South Korea now, but it's very interesting to see, and you kind of get some insights behind all of that, and it's really cool. And like I said, in South Korea, they're on TV, 7 o'clock prime time. People are tuning in to watch that StarCraft. Wow, something to think about.
The just like I remember international students coming when I was in high school. My school was basically just full of international students. That's how the school was actually able to continue to keep going, because the financial support and the amount of people living here where I live, not many students. The school was shut down, so they really opened arms to the international community, and so many of them, especially from South Korea, Asia, they'd be gaming no matter what, and they would be talking about these little events going on.
Yep.
StarCraft, Dota, League of Legends being the main games, and I was aware of these games, but I've tried doing Dota once, and I'm like, click, click, click. Nope, not good for me. League of Legends, click, 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 and then someone shouting, it's like mid. I'm like, what the heck? Top, down, low, whatever it is. Like, guys, I don't know. And then, or I'm just a squishy because I'm getting killed by the minions. And then StarCraft. I was actually tried playing StarCraft with story. What was
Yeah.
going on? But yeah, it's interesting for sure, just to see the amount of financial funding that goes into it. You said 20.7 million just this month, or up to this month right now. So
Yep.
that's
And the month's not over.
definitely,
And it's not even
yeah.
over.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at all sorts of different companies that are backing, or the organizations backing it. We're talking
And
a
you're,
lot of PC part companies I'm familiar with. We got even um
and you're
are
talking
you even
and you're talking well-known name brands too, not like these little obscure,
hmm
upstart things like
yeah.
Asus and Red Bull and Monster and Red Bull even actually threw their own tournament one time because there was so much to gain from it.
Yeah. Yeah, Red Bull Battlegrounds and
Yeah.
um even game developers are getting a part, like QuakeCon,
Yep.
people
Yep.
over there. So it's, yeah, there's a lot. There's
It's crazy.
a lot
I
of
don't know what else to say. I'm going to say this one more time. 20,731,011.86 this month alone in esports. That's all I can say. I think it's beautiful. I think it's I think for a long time, kind of gaming tournaments were kind of this obscure thing that happened. Behind the scenes, you had to know about them. But
People thought of it
now,
as like a joke.
um, yeah, kind of thought of as not like a real thing. But as Dorian alluded to, the numbers speak. Um, did we lose Wiz?
yeah, definitely no doubt about that. Oh,
Did we lose Wiz?
Wiz, you there?
I don't know what happened to my webcam.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right. Well, um, so the final topic for tonight is the current state of beta games.
ooh,
A lot of betas coming out. Um, this is another topic I can talk for hours upon, but we got the new Call of Duty beta is out, and we got some other things out, and it seems like if beta testing is done, what beta testing is meant to be, I think it's a good thing. But when a lot of people view it as, oh, the beta test is out, I get to play the game before it even comes out. Like, that's not what the beta test is supposed to be for. So Dorian, you want to go for this one to start with?
well, I just, I guess it was really. I just want to go back in time here a bit. Hold on a sec. I got my DeLorean here. I don't know if you guys can see it with Doc Brown, but I have an old action
Whoa.
figure.